like a fortress, they storm and I'm scorched in. Fire from the brainstem, they torture my portions. Vision panoramic, third eye orbiting. Demons on my shoulder, they whisper distorting. They try to shackle thoughts, chains made of fear, but I break locks, let the truth appear. Shadow puppets dancing, they lurk in the rear. I see through the smoke, make the mirage clear. Who gon' tell me no mindset colossal? War in my dome like Apollo burst fossils. Every thought a bullet, every rhyme a gospel. Freedom ain't free, so I fight the impossible. Excellence, second sex, tentation. I see the lies, I see the skies, I see the cries. Excellence, tentation. They can't possess, they can't suppress, I testify. They want me numb, want me dumb, want me quiet. But my words hit hard, start a riot. Spirits try to creep in, I deny it. Mind on the throne, can't buy it, defy it. Wolves in the skies, howl in the mist. Trying to put me down, drag me into the abyss. But my third eye glow like the moon when it's lit. Every time they strike, I counter with wit. Excellence. We gon' check out the dead. Texas rattlesnake, never thought you'd do this. All the time we spent, man, you had me looking foolish. No more text to the phone, you can lose it. Texas rattlesnake, the type to make a Judas. Texas rattlesnake, 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 Texas rattlesnake. Snakes in the grass, snitches and rats. Niggas they switching and acting like they got your back. Heard you was dissing, but we know that you been a fan. Niggas get jealous and backstabbing cause in the jam. Spreading lies, I heard you said I with the guys. On some petty shit, you and them was switching sides. You were the last person I thought would do me crime. Tryna hit up my old girl and play her like a prize. Texas rattlesnake, never thought you'd do this. All the time we spent, man, you had me looking foolish. No more text to the phone, you can lose it. Texas rattlesnake, the type to make a Judas. Texas rattlesnake, 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 Texas rattlesnake. Thought you were family, guess not. You're no different from the cops, dying just to take my spot. Innocent till proven guilty, that's what they all say. So I'm waiting for the proof. If you ask me, that's not okay. And I see you at the party sipping off your brew with some mutual friends, and you got them fooled. And you really had me fooled, it's the truth. And you know what they say, the truth's cruel. Yeah. Texas rattlesnake, never thought you'd do this. All the time we spent, man, you had me looking foolish. No more text to the phone, you can lose it. Texas rattlesnake, the type to make a Judas. Texas rattlesnake, Texas rattlesnake, Texas rattlesnake, yeah, Texas rattlesnake, Texas rattlesnake, Texas rattlesnake, Texas rattlesnake, yeah, Texas rattlesnake. Password, love, password, pain, password, nothing is true, access granted, hello Neo. Pull up to the Matrix in a spaceship. Can't think with the bots and the fake shit. Gotta stay pure, gotta stay patient. Having what they want cause a nigga ain't racist. When you need it most, that's when they start hating. Free your mind, yeah, free your mind. Yours ain't gotta be the same as mine, or mine ain't gotta be the same as yours. Passwords were love, password, pain, password, nothing is true, access granted, hello Neo. Passwords were love, password, pain, password, nothing is true, access granted, hello Neo.
right, mic checker 1 2 3. Mic checker 1 2 3. Let me just check my mic real quick. Usually I get Queen Ye to do it for me, but y'all know she got a nighttime job now, so she work at night. So let me see. Why is my camera keep going in and out? Okay, it sounds fine. Camera keep going in and out for some reason. What's up, Ivan? What's up, Miss DD? I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. I almost rescheduled y'all. I keep telling y'all. Thank you for the mic check. I keep telling y'all that I be so tired. Boy, when I'm tired, I do not want to do a video, but I know I can't reschedule for tomorrow because I actually have a doctor's appointment tomorrow as soon as I get off of work. So I was like, let me just push through it. So I'm gonna push through it. So I do this for the love of it. But I hope all is well with y'all. We gonna pick up from yesterday, discussing the Adam and Eve story with the serpent. Did the serpent lie to Eve? If you didn't see the video yesterday, we kind of, it was a slow burn, but I went through some of the scriptures and showed y'all how there are many things that people overlook when it comes down to the story of Adam and Eve and the serpent. And at the end of the day, if you don't have a biased perspective and just read it as the text is written, the serpent didn't lie. Some people don't want to admit that, but exactly what the serpent said was going to happen happened, and that Adam and Eve did not die the day that they ate the fruit, but they were cut off from eating from the tree of life, right? They were never. Oh, 1 second, y'all. 1 second. Oh, okay. You had me. You play too much. All right. You sound like I ain't even gonna go there. Ivan Queen Ye say hey. So she said hey. She tells her hey daddy. But dang what I was saying. She over here distract. I hate when she do that. When I'm doing the show, she do her little ad libs in the background and it throws me off. Well, I can't focus when you playing. So anyway, but what was I saying? Oh, I think I was saying that that they did not die the day they ate the fruit, and part of their punishment was the Most High God cutting them off from accessing the tree of life, but they never ate from the tree. They were not designed to be immortal, like people try to say that we were made to dwell with the Most High forever. If in the proper text, reading the context, they did not eat from the fruit that would have gave them immortality. So we broke it down. We talked about different perspectives, and we basically, talked about how Adam was created just to work the land, to work the earth, the garden, to farm and stuff, and take care of the animals. And then I discovered in real time, reading over Genesis, that there was a contradiction from Genesis 1 and Genesis 2. It's either those are two creation stories. The Bible have literally two creation stories, or Genesis 1 and 2 contradict itself, because I saw in the scriptures where it basically said that the land was barren. There was no, God didn't create the vegetation yet, and that he didn't cause anything to rain, and that Adam he was waiting to put a man to grow these vegetations. And it was just a lot. It's just crazy. It was some stuff that I was like, yo. So basically, the order of creation is different from chapter 1 and 2. So, and that I also brought it to y'all attention that there were people who existed outside of Adam's bloodline, and if the reason why everyone dies is because of Adam's sin, then how do you explain the people who was outside of Adam's bloodline? How come those people died? Which, given more to my theory that people were not designed to live forever. Only way you can live forever if you ate from the tree of life, which the Most High guarded because he was pissed off at his creation for disobeying him. Now, disclaimer, I do not believe that this story actually happened in real life. To me, it's an allegory, esoterical, symbolic, um, comes from the imagination of a man mind with some I think with some hidden messages to get to the origin of the consciousness of a person's mind, or what make us conscious, or what makes us us. Like, what are we, right? I don't actually believe it's a literal place. I don't entertain it being even a spiritual place. I think it's in our imagination. Y'all know I do believe in a higher power, but not spiritual the way that you perceive, or some people may perceive God. I'm more philosophical with my beliefs in God. Like, if you ever heard of Spinoza, or y'all know I entertain assimilation theory, hence the name of my show, Neo X Scary Matrix. I do believe that these things are downloaded into our consciousness, and that we are acting them out, explaining them, because that's a form of learning. Just like how AI mimics the things that we already made tangible. AI doesn't create new things. It just mimic what it learns, and then it regurgitates it. I feel like we just regurgitating, or mimicking whatever created us, right? So I just want to make sure that's very clear. I don't want people to think that I actually believe that the serpent is the good guy, God's the bad guy, or vice versa. God is the good guy, the serpent is the bad. I don't believe in these gods like that. You feel what I'm saying? They imagination, right? They exist. They only exist because they exist in someone's imagination. But I do come and entertain this just so I can show people how what they think the Bible says is not even what it says, and that people are just making up spiritual practices, spiritual beliefs, different religion based off how they interpret the Bible. I was watching Break Room earlier today. I only watched caught a little bit of it because I had to go back and do something at work. So I listened to some of it when I was running my routes or whatever. And she was talking about truth. And she made a comment about truth that I absolutely do agree with when it comes down to what is truth. I know that truth can be based off of perspectives. They do have truth that is based off the information that you know and what you believe. It can be an opinion, but I also am aware that truth is based off the facts. Truth can change. What something be true today can be not true tomorrow. Facts don't change. Like 2 plus 2 is 4, right? So facts is how you determine the truth. But I'm also aware that your truth change, your perspective of the truth change based off the more information you know. And she gave an example today where I thought it was a good example when she was saying that people looking at the moon, somebody might argue and say the moon is circle, and the other person might say the moon is a sphere. Well, from a certain angle, the moon shape is circle, but the other person understand that the moon is true shape is a sphere, and that will be considered a fact. But if the other person don't have the knowledge of what a sphere is, they're gonna call it based off of what the information they know, if that makes sense. So if they don't know what a sphere is, them calling it a circle is not true, because that's what they know a circle, and it is a circle, but from a flat surface it looks like a circle, but it's truly a sphere. So I like how she kind of talked about that, and I get it. That's why I told people I'm more patient when I get ready to start doing my shows over there in TikTok. Just watching some of the people who I've came across on TikTok, I decided that I'm gonna be a little bit more patient when believers click on the live and stuff, because I'd rather have a conversation. I try not to be too arrogant or too, impatient. Not arrogant, because it's not arrogant. I understand the atheists and the non-believers frustration. I'm just more humble, because I remember when I was indoctrinated. Remember, my indoctrination literally caused me to have temporary psychosis. So religion made me lose my mind temporarily. So I'm more patient. So when I was just like, okay, when I start building my panel on TikTok, and start having discussions, I'm going to be more patient with people who come on and have a conversation with me, because I really just want to break it down with them and have a logical conversation and just show them that, bro, this stuff is belief. It's a fable. It's fairy tale. The Bible is false and is clearly unjust, right? But some people, they're afraid to admit that, because fear is a very powerful manipulation tool. Fear, like, no one's exempt from fear. No matter, you can be a soldier or a homeless man in the street. Anybody human, you have something you fear. You might not want to admit it, but there's absolutely something that terrifies you. And, for some reason, people fire imagining someone burning in hell for eternity. That means forever. They never coming out. Would drive some people a little nuts. So I get it, but I just know I said I'm gonna be more patient. So with that being said, let's go ahead and go into the serpent stuff, right? About, was the serpent enlightened? And then what's the name of the show? What I named the show? I don't forgot what I named them. The serpent was Unmasking the Serpent. Was it an enlightener or the enemy? Now, yesterday when I was doing the show, I told y'all that I went down like a rabbit hole, because when I was driving in the truck, chilling and stuff, I was wondering to myself, like, how come in the east side of the world, especially like in Asia, like China, Japan, places, I said, how come they have a lot of symbolism with dragons? Like, what's the connection with the dragon? How come the Aboriginals who live in Australia, why do they have a serpent story? Their creator was a serpent rainbow god. In Americas, like the Aztecs, they had a feather god. And I'm familiar with other cultures all over the world. Why I noticed that there was a common theme with these ancient civilizations or even modern civilizations. They entertain like a reptile animal, if it's a dragon or a snake or a serpent. And then when I kept saying the most popular religion in the world, Christianity, even in that book where people misinterpret what it says, the serpent was appeared in this book, and this serpent basically had human beings challenge God, like rebel, right? I was like, where's this stuff coming from? So I was just curious, babe, when you get a chance, you'll plug my phone up. It just died. I forgot to. Thank you. No rush when you get a chance. So I was like, what is this common theme with the serpent and stuff? And how come in Western society, or not Western because Christianity, or Abrahamic religion, why is the serpent demonized in this religion, but all the other cultures in Japan and East Asia and different regions in Africa, South America, I was like, but everybody else sees the serpent as a good thing. And that's what made me say, okay, let's get my juice, let's get the juices flowing. Like, Christianity, Abrahamic religion is the only religion where we see the serpent is bad. It's apparently is a liar, but when you read the story, it didn't lie. But that's what they keep saying, because Eve felt like she was deceived because God was mad at her, right? So, but again, read the story, the serpent didn't lie. They did not die that day, and it's not a spiritual death. Every time people keep saying that, I keep saying, like, bruh, how is it a spiritual death? Right? How is it a spiritual death if they never was immoral? I mean, if they never had immortality in the first place. They had the ability to die before they lost the ability to live forever. They never had the ability. The Bible tells you they didn't have it, but people just come up with that. And I kept saying, where is it in either other scriptures where it says that humans were designed to live forever? It's not there. Christians just made it up. So only time they have the ability to live forever if they consume from the tree of life. And I even broke it down that even after they were cursed and they pissed off God, God was concerned about them eating from that tree, so he kept them from it. Because he said, okay, if he eat from that tree, he gonna live forever. So he didn't want mankind to have the ability to live forever. He didn't want them to have the same knowledge as him, right? I don't know why he just didn't have a fruit called the fruit of good knowledge and the fruit of evil knowledge, and just made sure people just stayed away from the evil tree. For some reason, he had good knowledge and evil knowledge was in the same damn fruit. For some reason, that's the way the story is told. But I even showed that's not what he was mad about. He was mad about he didn't want them to live forever. So he cut them off from it. You said, wow. Yeah, DD, that live I did yesterday was kind of deep. It was kind of deep. But I showed them that. They never had immortality. And that is something like your Christian friends or your pastors or even yourself, if you believe in, they're not going to like admit that unless they be honest and go back and read it. I was like, bro, after they were cursed, God was concerned. After he even cursed them, oh, man has become like us, knowing good and evil. Now, at least he, let him go reach out and eat from the tree of life. He gonna live forever. And I'm like, ain't you God? Can't you just destroy everything? But I keep telling y'all, that's a different God. Obviously, when you read Genesis 1 and Genesis 2, those are two separate gods, but that's another Bible study. But all right, so I was on Chat GPT, and I'm gonna play, because I'm not gonna read it out because y'all know I'm not the best reader out loud. Y'all know they be making fun of me because I be mispronouncing words and stuff like that. But I can read myself, like comprehend what I read. But for the sake of time, I'm gonna see if I can get. Do I remember how to make Chat GPT read this? You making mashed potatoes? Yeah, that's mashed potatoes? Oh. Oh, you finna fix the plate? Yeah, I mean, if you want to fix my plate and just put it in the microwave, that'd be great. If you have time. If you don't have time, don't worry about it. So, all right, babe. All right, so I went to Chat GPT, and I told Chat GPT that I was doing a show about the Adam and Eve and what are some beliefs about the serpents and did it lie to Eve. I'm gonna play. I think I remember how to. Let me know if y'all can hear this.
That's a great topic. The serpent in the story of Adam and Eve.
All right, can y'all hear that before I let it continue? Can anybody let me know if they can hear that? Can they hear Chat GPT?
That's a great topic. The serpent in the story of Adam and
Yep. Okay. Thank y'all. Thank you. All right. All right.
That's a great topic. The serpent in the story of Adam and Eve, Genesis 3, has fascinated scholars, theologians, and even occult thinkers for centuries. Let's break it down from several belief perspectives and then look at the question, did the serpent actually lie? 1. Traditional Christian interpretation. In mainstream Christian belief, the serpent is seen as Satan in disguise, a fallen angel who deceived humanity. His goal was to make humans disobey God, introducing sin into the world. Eve believed the serpent's claim that eating the fruit would make her like God, knowing good and evil. Christians generally teach that the serpent lied by twisting the truth. He told part of it, they would gain knowledge, but omitted the cost, spiritual death and separation from God. 2. Hebrew and Jewish perspectives. In the original Hebrew text, the serpent is called Nachash,
Nahash.
which can mean serpent, diviner, or shining one. Jewish interpretations often see the serpent not as Satan, but as a symbol of temptation, desire, or cunning intelligence. In some rabbinic commentaries, the serpent represents the animalistic side of human nature, the voice that tempts humans to follow instincts over obedience. So, rather than a cosmic evil, it's a metaphor for internal conflict. Namachandra 3. Gnostic and esoteric views. Gnostic traditions, which emerged in the first few centuries AD, flip the story. The serpent is not evil, it's the bringer of enlightenment. The The god who forbade the fruit is seen as a false, jealous deity, the demiurge trying to keep humans ignorant. The serpent, therefore, told the truth. Eating the fruit opened Adam and Eve's eyes. In this view, the serpent is a symbol of wisdom, liberation, and self-knowledge. 4. African and indigenous symbolism. In some African cosmologies, the serpent is a dual-natured being, both creator and destroyer, wise but dangerous. Among the Dogon of Mali, the serpent Lebe is a life-giver tied to the earth's fertility. This makes the serpent in Eden not necessarily evil, but a force of transformation, bringing humanity into consciousness, similar to how many mythologies describe the price of knowledge. 5. Did the serpent lie to Eve? Let's look closely at Genesis 3:4-5. Open quote, "You will not surely die," the serpent said to the woman. "For God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." Close quote. Now compare that with what actually happens. They didn't die immediately, so that part was technically true. Their eyes were opened, also true. Genesis 3:7 says, "Then the eyes of both were opened." But they did experience spiritual death, shame, and exile. The serpent left that out. So depending on your lens, literal, Christian view, the serpent lied by omission. He told partial truths to deceive. Symbolic, Gnostic view, the serpent told the truth, and humanity's awakening was the birth of free will. Psychological view, the serpent represents the ego or curiosity, which drives evolution in consciousness, for better or worse.
Okay. 1 second, y'all. My girl trying to ask me a question. I can't pause this thing. All right. So, with this chat GPT, I wish there was a way I can pause it as it talk. But you see how, like, when it talks about what Christians personally believe about what the text actually say, they keep saying by omission, right? He told partial truth. But I keep reminding people when I have these debates with them that God didn't tell them, hey, if you eat this, you're going to be exiled and you're going to have a spiritual death. That's not what the warning said. The warning said, in the day you eat of it, right? The day you eat, in the day you eat it, you will surely die. That is it. That is it. That's all. There ain't nothing about you going to be exiled. It ain't nothing about your baby's going to be cursed. It ain't about nothing about your people who don't believe in my son, Jesus Christ, is going to hell. There's no other further instructions. That is something that people add on. I let people know when you do kind of see like an additional instruction, you don't see God saying it. You see Eve saying it to the serpent when she says, we're not supposed to eat from the tree, nor we're not supposed to touch it, right? We didn't hear God tell them not to touch it, but somehow Eve added that in. Like, hey, we're not supposed to even touch it either. The serpent said, nah, you ain't gonna die. You surely ain't gonna die. But God knows if you eat of it, you're gonna become like him, knowing good and evil. It then, 1 second, baby girl. Hey, baby girl, go back to your room. Please and thank you. I already fed her. No, I didn't give her a dessert yet. No, so she can have one of them cookies. But so you see Eve, she kind of like say something additional that God didn't say. But every time I have this argument with believers, I say, where are y'all getting this from? Just in the book of Genesis. Now, you might have people later on who were trying to explain what happened in Genesis and they add their own, commentary or spin. That's why you have one verse in the Bible saying that one day is 1,000 years for God. 1,000 years for us is one day for God. You might have something randomly like that that's come out of nowhere that you don't find in any of the other canon books of the Bible. But I feel like sometimes people just say stuff to try to justify whatever the oldest book is or whatever, it is said. So, what did you say? Just Jacob. In many religions, there is an entity called Samuel. Samuel is called Satan, but some just death by others. Death may be scary, but it's objective. Not good, not evil. Samuel is called the serpent. Yeah, I used to fear death. I don't fear it anymore. I used to fear death, but I definitely don't fear it anymore because I know it's part of life. So I know it's not a punishment. So Sam in many language means either prison of God or medicine. I don't know that to be true, but if that is true, thank you for enlightening me on that. But I did not know that that's the meaning of Samuel. So now you're gonna have me looking at Sam's Club. We'll decide what y'all got up in here. Satan, but anyway, I don't really believe in this stuff, so but thank you for letting me know. You said, so what death did he mean? It was a physical death. That's what he meant, because he literally said, I pointed out that they did not have the ability to already do that. They needed to consume fruit, a fruit called from the tree of life, which they never did. Because like I showed them in the scripture, after they was cursed, God cut them. He was like, yo, they know good and evil. We can't let them live forever. Like they already made in our image. They already got our knowledge, our consciousness. They can't be immortal. I mean, they can't have immortality like we. So he guarded it. Like he put some cherubims and some swords. Men couldn't get to it, right? Because I guess we don't have God powers. And it's not even saying God used his power to protect the tree. That's not even what the story say. The God said he put angels and over cherubims to do their angel power and protect the tree. So, but I just, when they keep saying it, I was like, what is a spiritual death? Like, what is that? We don't know what a spiritual death is. Like, nobody knows what happens when we die. Yeah, it used to terrify me, because when I was a Christian, I thought you're going to get judged by God depending on how you live. And, if Jesus accepts you not, you're going to hell or not. Me now, personally, like I said, far as I know, death can be just as if we go to sleep, and just never wake up, or whatever you were before you was born. Nobody remembers. Nobody knows you existed in a time and space where you were not conscious of your existence. And I keep reminding people, I was like, if you ever had surgery and had general anesthesia before, in my mind, I was wondering, was death like that? Because I had no perception of nothing. One moment I was counting down. Next thing I know, the doctor was like, the surgery went well. No, there was no pain, no suffering. I was not conscious of my existence, the doctor's existence, the hospital, the surgery. I knew nothing. So how do we know death is not like that? Some people who I talked to who had near-death experiences don't remember a goddamn thing. They just said it was as if they just went to sleep. One girl said her heart stopped, and the next thing you know, they was waking her up and saying, hey, we brought you back. She said it felt like going to sleep, But then y'all know I interviewed a guy named David Williams, and David Williams said he was out there in the cosmos. David Williams said when he had his near-death experience and his heart stopped, he got up out his spirit. He said his spirit came out of his body, and he was up there in the damn, what we call the cosmos. He was outside Earth looking down at everybody or something. That's what he said happened. So, and my godmother, she said when she had a near-death experience, she said when her heart stopped, she saw her relatives, her dad that passed away, her brother, and somebody else. So everybody kind of have their own thing, but nobody really knows what happens. Now I ain't in no rush to get to the other side, But I remember the day when I accepted it and said I was gonna no longer fear it. So, but I do believe in purpose and destiny. So I try to just live out my purpose and just leave a mark here on earth. Try to be the world's best auntie. You know what I'm saying? So, and spark the mind of some great thinkers. Abrahamic religion demonized the serpent because it's mind control. I'm telling you, Ivan, that's what kept making me rub my little chin, trying to, figure some of this out, because you know how they say there's nothing new under the sun. And we see how these people over there are acting to this day, bombing kids and bombing the stuff. Like we can even get in trouble just speaking on it, right? Excuse me, I'm drinking ginger ale. We see how the things that we see these people doing that we know is unethical and are war crimes, and people are excusing it because they trying to convince us that a God is okay with them doing. It's just something just not right with none of this stuff. But I kept saying, how come all the other religions and religions or regions, how come they serpent story is different, and Christianity or Abrahamic religion is the only ones that the serpent is like the bad guy, you know? And what does the serpent represent? Girl, you never late. It's just, as long as I know you here, sis, I never feel some type of way about you being late. So I just appreciate you encouraging me yesterday. So that's another reason why I got up and decided to do this live, because I'm tired. But I told you I was going to do it, so I'm doing it. You said, for me, the serpent represents a spiral, an inner spiral to be inspired. That's what they say. That's how people say your nerves. They say the shape, your spinal, your Kundalini spinal, what is called your what is called, not your nerve system. It's gonna come to me. Your spinal cord. They call it the Kundalini spirit, or Kundalini, like the snake, because they said it literally looks like a serpent. So. You said, sorry, didn't mean to go to, hey, I'm going to remember what you said. And then knowing me, I'll randomly look it up one day. To be honest with you, one day I'll just be like, let me just see what does name Sam mean, So, love all family in here. Love you and love y'all and Sis Neo. Appreciate it. All right, so let's continue. So I think I asked it to give me more information on what the Gnostics, because I think they are the most popular philosophy indoctrination that we know that Christians tend to really cringe around them. Even though I don't know if some of y'all know this, there's a such thing as Christian Gnostics, or what they call Gnostic Christians. That's actually a real thing. So a group of people who agree with what the Gnostics teach, and they're Christians. So, but I think they just believe that the serpent is the savior, if I'm not mistaken, the difference. So now I'm gonna let this play, y'all, because some reason it does not like let you pause like it does on the phone. I don't know why on here it won't let you pause it. So
Excellent observation.
it lets you pause it, but it won't let you like pause and start you go off where you stopped at. So
Excellent observation. That's a deep and often overlooked point. You're absolutely right. In Genesis, Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, not the tree of life. Yet before their disobedience, they were said to have access to the tree of life, meaning immortality was potential, not automatic. Let's unpack how Gnostic teachings reinterpret this entire setup. Number 1, the Gnostic context. A different God and a hidden truth. In Gnostic cosmology, the Genesis story is not about humans disobeying a loving God. It's about humanity awakening from ignorance. The God of Genesis, often called Yaldabaoth or the Demiurge, is seen as a lesser, arrogant creator who traps souls in matter. Above him is the true God, the source of light and pure consciousness, who exists beyond material creation. The Garden of Eden, then, isn't paradise. It's a beautiful prison. Humanity, Adam and Eve, are divine sparks trapped in flesh. So, when the Demiurge forbids the fruit, he's trying to keep them ignorant of their true divine nature. Number 2. The serpent as the messenger of wisdom, Sophia. In Gnosticism, the serpent isn't evil. It's a manifestation of Sophia, wisdom, who feels compassion for humanity's ignorance. Sophia realizes that the Demiurge has trapped divine light within humans. Through the serpent, she urges Eve to eat from the tree of knowledge so that humanity can remember their origin and see through the illusion of the Demiurge's world. This act of disobedience becomes an act of liberation, the start of gnosis, spiritual knowledge. So in the Gnostic story, Eve becomes the first enlightened human, not the first sinner. 3. The tree of life and why they didn't eat from it now. To your question, how could they live forever if they never ate from the tree of life? In Gnostic thought, the tree of life represents eternal union with the true God, or the higher spiritual reality. The Demiurge guarded it to keep humanity from regaining divine immortality. symbolic of escaping the cycle of birth, suffering, and death. When God says in Genesis 3:22, "Now they might reach out and take also from the tree of life and live forever," it's a moment of panic. He realizes that humans now know too much. So the expulsion from Eden wasn't a punishment in the Gnostic sense. It was the demiurge trying to stop humanity from ascending and becoming like the divine beings. 4. The paradox of knowledge versus life. In Gnostic philosophy, the tree of knowledge and tree of life are two sides of the same mystery. The tree of knowledge equals awakening to the illusion, gnosis of good and evil, of illusion versus truth. The tree of life equals the final escape, reunion with the divine source. Adam and Eve's fall through knowledge was the first step toward life, not the end of it. In short, open quote, knowledge leads to freedom, and freedom leads to eternal life, but only once one escapes the false world of matter. Close quote. -5. So how were they destined to live forever? In Gnostic terms, humanity was always divine and eternal, but forgotten its origin due to being trapped in material form. The tree of life symbolizes remembering that immortality. Eating from the tree of knowledge reawakens the soul's potential to reach it later, to ascend beyond the demiurge's world. So, in essence, they were immortal already, but in a sleeping state. The serpent's guidance was the spark that began humanity's return to that divine immortality. If you'd like,
Okay, so when I was reading over this, I was wondering, I was like, if you think about it, I kind of understand what the Gnostics, Christians, or the believe like where they coming from, because it always dawned on me how come our salvation, right, is based off our codependency on believing in a God, right, believing in the Savior, believing in Jesus. The God of the Bible, the way the people wrote this God, it tells us that we're nothing, we're worthless, we're filthy rags, our righteousness is nothing compared. If you listen to the way that the human race, the believers decide to even worship this God, how do they worship? They on their knees. I am nothing without you. I'm worthless. I can't do anything. Woe is me. I fell. I'm sin. The Satan came in and made me cheat on my wife. If you just listen to the words that come out your mouth, and I remember, I'm not like trying to quote Jay-Z, but he kind of said something in one of his songs where it says, what is a somebody, what's a man to a king, what's a king to a god, and what is a god to a non-believer, right? And that I took that as him saying that gods don't have no power when you don't believe it. The way that the Gnostics try to interpret this, I knew that I was not tripping when I said that it was we seen God panic. We see him panic. Hey, now we can't let them live forever now. And then there are some Christians who teach, the reason why he didn't want mankind to be live forever because they'll be doing all this evil stuff forever. Like all this wicked and stuff and evil and stuff. And I was like, but is anybody comprehending that whatever we are capable of doing or whatever things we come up in our imagination, that is the knowledge of something that exists inside God? Think about what I'm saying. A person who chooses to unalive a baby. I'm going to be covering a story in a few days where a man unalived a 3-year-old after he raped her to death, right? Unalived her after raping her, even though they wound up him in prison. That something that's so heinous, that is a knowledge of evil. That is something, a concept that exists in the knowledge of God. When we love our mother, love our father, or when a parent loves his child, when a mother loves his child, or a father loves his child, that is a concept that exists inside God. That is something that the way that they try to make it seem like, if you look at in the Bible, Satan killed how many? Let me see. I think Satan only killed How many people Satan killed? Let me see. How many people? It ain't even a lot. Did Satan kill in the Bible? I think somebody said it one. I remember I looked it up one time. Oh, so now they don't got. I don't know who been messing with Google's algorithm, but they've been making it more Christian lately. But they used to give an answer to that. Let me see. So they saying that Satan probably only killed like 10 people. 10. And God probably killed 22 million. Right. They said God killed over 22 and Satan probably killed 10. Right. So they say. And that might be an exaggeration. One say 2.4 million. They don't know. I just know he killed way more than Satan did. It kind of like makes sense to me because you know what? Let me show y'all this TikTok video that I've of somebody making fun of how Christians pray. If you listen to the words, you realize how bad it actually is. So, let me see. Did I save that video? One second. Y'all don't mean to go off topic, but I just want y'all to visually somebody make a joke about it, but he do it in a comedic way. But it was just so true. Like the way he did it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It was a white dude. Was it a white dude? And when he said it, I said, "Well, that sounds just like how people pray, but you don't realize how ridiculous it sounds until you hear them say it, and you don't believe in it no more." Man, come on now, where this video at? I laughed so hard I don't forgot to save it. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Give me 1 second. I wasn't planning on playing this video. It came to my mind when but I'm trying to find it. I must have laughed so hard I don't forgot to save it. Let me see if I can find it. Dang, that would have been funny. All right, let me search someone else. Let me see something. Damn, I can't find it. It's so many other videos. It was hilarious because the way he did it was like, bro, that's terrible. But there's too many videos to go through. So many other people making jokes about it. Damn, I thought I hit the like button on that. That shit was funny. Well, all right, y'all. Sorry, I wanted to show something funny to y'all, but I must didn't like the button. I must didn't hit the like button because it's not under my it's not under my hearted. And then I typed it in, and it's way too many videos to go through. It was hilarious too, because he was like saying things like, "Oh, I'm worthless." Like he was like, "I'm worthless," and oh man, that shit would have been funny. Yeah, I wanted to show y'all that video. Uh, damn. All right. Let me get back to the show. So again, when you think about it, I think it's kind of crazy how the God, this God really wants you to be codependent. Like it does not want you to reach the state of consciousness of being a God like it unless you are willing to submit your whole being in existence to it, right? And it's like prideful. And then allegedly, this God is jealous, even though he functions just like the other gods. You know, nobody sees him. People have books and prophets that speak for them. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's just crazy. And to the point that people even believing in this God is leading to wars. And people, literally like bombing schools and stuff. They probably knowing reason why I probably don't see it. They probably took it down. People probably complain. I tried to skim through it again and see if I can find it. They probably complained and they took that tag because they'll tell on you real quick. I don't got hit so many times. They'll tell on you real quick for real. Let's see what y'all saying. Once you raise your inner spiral, once you raise your inner spirit, your consciousness goes up levels. That's why we see the Bible different to how I used to believe. I was a bit crazy. That's what I said yesterday. I say it literally feels like you got to be under a trance or a spell, because I could not believe that I read the book of Genesis like hundreds of times. And I didn't catch the contradiction between when he created the vegetation and when he put Adam on in the garden or on earth to till. Like that literally kept blowing me because I was like, wait a minute. So well, I already know we know we side eye the Bible because how you make plants without sunlight beyond beyond me, right? But he even said that the plants didn't grow because it didn't rain, and then there was no man to till the earth. So I was like, so he didn't speak it into existence, or it's a lot. Christianity mythology, all extra biblical. I think it's 10. Okay, you were saying someone I asked how many people God equals genocide compared to Satan. What? Have no idea. But it's the thing, even the threats and all the coercion. In the last day, every knee shall bow. Like, don't that kind of remind you how Trump act? Like acting like a tyrant. And I keep telling believers, as much as you get mad at me, God spoke a lot. But not one time you're gonna see a scripture of him saying that he loves humanity or he loves you. You hear other people telling you, explaining to you what good love is, right? But they ain't no verse where God says out his mouth, I love my children. I just want them to obey me. They're wicked. I'm sorry. I gave them free will. None of that. People telling you the attributes of God. God ain't saying nothing to them. Ain't even in the scriptures. I always side out him. I said, God never said he loved the world. John told y'all that. And then for y'all to only find like that one scripture out of all the different books, that one scripture is no, and then it's in the New Testament. Like, this guy was a tribal guy. It's either you obeyed or and he didn't play. If you did not follow his instructions the way he gave it to you, Ask Moses. You can do everything. You can give your whole life to God. You mess up one time and do not do exactly what he say, you punished. Right? Not forgetting that Satan cannot kill without God's permission. I think it was Job's family Satan killed. And again, it was a bet between Job and Satan. Yeah, the story of Job get a lot of people in their feelings when you break that down, but they don't want to admit that it was a bet. I text you, sis, to let you know I was live, but it's all good. I'm just getting started. So when the Philistines took the Ark of the Covenant, they thought their God delivered it to them. So could this be happening in these days? I don't really understand your question. Because you got to remember, I don't believe none of these stories. They fables to me, fairy tales. They just as real as Wakanda in Africa in the Marvel universe. I just look at the allegories, right? The symbolicness, the symbolism. The serpent is very symbolic, being that I'm finding it in everybody's culture, everyone's culture. Except for, like I said, in the Abrahamic religion, it's only where the serpent is the bad guy, based off of telling the human, hey, you can be like God if you partake of this fruit. The serpent didn't lie. No matter how many times they try to reword it and say it was a spiritual death, you have to add that into that, because God gave them instruction. The day you eat of it, you're gonna die. They never had the ability to live like Chat GPT said when he was explaining it from the Gnostic's point of view. They had the potential to have immortality, but they was not made with it. They was made in the image of God, but they didn't have the consciousness of God. They didn't gain God's knowledge until they ate a piece of fruit that the God that created them told them he didn't want them to have. And then when they did it, he was like, okay, well, you can't live. And I'm telling you, and I hate when Christians, they was like, oh, because men was gonna be evil and they were just gonna do evil stuff for the rest of their life. And it forever in all eternity. And I said, do y'all not understand that the knowledge and the consciousness of anything that's heinous, wicked, the vile, I can't even think of the word, the most heinous, cringy, despicable, the worst thing you can think of for is wickedness on this earth. Me bombing children goes in that category. If you can shoot kids up and bombing and raping them, right? Hurting kids is like the most wickedest stuff I can think of somebody doing. The most wickedest things you can contemplate on this earth, that comes from out of God's consciousness. I keep telling everybody that the knowledge of good and evil. The serpent said you eat it, you will have that knowledge. All concepts, good and evil. Whatever's potentially in us is potentially in that God. It's his stuff. He created it, right? Or who planted the tree? How did the serpent know? Did the serpent eat from the tree? Did the serpent know good and evil? Because if the serpent didn't know good and evil, maybe the serpent didn't know it was being deceiving, being deceptive. Maybe it overheard a conversation with Michael and a guy. Who the fuck knows? The book is just vague, but to me, I know it's symbolic. That's what I said. I don't think this happened in real life. This stuff is just coming in our imagination because we are trying to explain God in our existence. We trying to explain back 5,000 years ago, allegedly, when this stuff was written, even though I don't think it was 5,000 years ago. Men were just trying to figure out why women scream and holler during childbirth, so it had to be a curse, right? When they was coming up with these gods and trying to get favor with gods. But science let us know, hey, all mammals suffer during childbirth. It's not just human beings. All mammals. And when we plant stuff on the grass, we don't get thorns and thistle. We actually get fruits and vegetables, vegetation that's for the nourishment of our bodies. And if we eat it properly the way we're supposed to, we kind of live a good little life. Now, we don't live 900 years. Back in the Adam and Eve time, they was living that long. And then randomly out of nowhere, randomly, just completely out of nowhere, the scripture pop up. God took away his spirit from men, and now men only live 120 years. Is the most I think they say a man can live is 120 potentially, right? But that scripture just randomly came out of nowhere, and I keep telling people nobody questions. If you go read that story, it just pops in. It don't lead up to it. It don't tell you what God was thinking. What the angel is just some random scripture that's popped out of nowhere, and it just pops up in the Bible. And I said, people just don't think that's suspicious. Clearly, somebody added that in randomly, because you don't even get no explanation on why, right? So, but one day, people after the fall, Adam and them lived 900, 800, and then one day God was like, all right, I'm gonna cut their days down from 800. Now they only can live 120. And this supposed to be happening like what, 5,000 years ago. So, all right, so where I left off at. All right, I think it was giving me, I know I asked another question. All right. All right, this is me coming up with a thumbnail. All right, so let me go to the next page. All right, so I went to Chat GPT and I started asking questions about the serpent origin stories. And I want y'all to hear some of these stories and see if you catch a common theme, and see, just compare and contrast the Abrahamic religion to where these other people and what they actually believe. Because I'm telling you, what made me get curious is when I heard that the Aboriginal god was a rainbow serpent. When I found out that there was a creation story even in Japan with a serpent, with a human head, right? And rainbows in the sky. The feathered serpent. I was like, okay, what's up with these serpents? Is a common theme in these origin stories of all these ancient people, and even modern day. Why they have this understanding that the serpent usually represents wisdom, enlightenment, creation, rebirth, but in Christianity is deceptive, and that you have to depend on another God that tells you that you're worthless, and that you can't. You know how the Bible say the only way through the Father is through Jesus, right? That you have to have a mediator for you to actually have a connection with your divine creator. So all that stuff is just suspicious to me. And I was like, this, whatever this God is, really wants people to worship it, but it's not giving the evidence that one would think an all powerful God would do. He's basing it off of if someone can convince you to believe, and they using coercion and fear tactics, turn or burn, you know. So, all right, what was the question in that? Okay, so I asked Chat GPT for some origin stories of a serpent.
There are several mythologies and origin stories in which a serpent, or snake dragon, plays a central role. Which one you have in mind might depend on region or culture. Here are a few examples. Examples of peoples or cultures whose origin myths involve serpents. Australian Aboriginal peoples. Many Aboriginal Australian groups tell stories of the rainbow serpent, or rainbow snake, as a creator being one who shapes the land, forms rivers and waterholes, and gives life. Wikipedia, Hindu South Asian traditions. The Nagas are a semi-divine race of serpent snake beings, sometimes half human, half snake. They appear in many origin and cosmological stories in Indian, Buddhist, and other South Asian traditions. Wikipedia Chinese mythology. The goddess Nuwa, often depicted as having a human upper body and serpent, or dragon snake, lower body, is said to have molded humans from Earth and given life. GreekReporter.com. Mesopotamian, Near Eastern myths. In some versions of the Adapa Enki myths, serpent or dragon-like creatures play key roles in denying or stealing immortality for humans. Bible Interp, Mesoamerican Aztec traditions. The feathered serpent deity Quetzalcoatl is not exactly the origin of humans, but is deeply connected to creation, culture, knowledge, and life in Aztec and surrounding mythologies.
Okay. Now, what's crazy is even though we're reading this from a European, westernized database, you notice how when it comes down to their spiritual beliefs, it's mythology. Notice I peeped that. I said, huh? When it come down to them speaking to about everybody else's religion and the talking serpent and people being created by their gods and stuff, it's mythology. But Abrahamic religions or Christianity, no one's calling it mythology, and if you do, you know they say you blaspheming, even though they be having similar stories. Now I'm just curious because I wanted to see something since it gave us a Wikipedia source. I just wanted to see something real quick. Um, I was trying to see if it was at a. See if I can share that. This was, I guess, the different arts of um this was at a museum of old, what says Sidney Nolan Snape, held in the Museum of Old New Arts in Hobart, is a giant rainbow serpent memorial of 1,620 painting panels. I guess that an Aboriginal? Or is he? But this is some painting that that's not giving us much detail on that. It just says Australia Aboriginal rock painting of a rainbow serpent. We know that that's their origin story. You know, I know. Let me see something. I know where that video at. I just saw it. I was gonna let. I found a video of an Aboriginal lady explaining some of her religion. Now I just saw that. TikTok need to do a better job at organizing this thing when you hit the like button. You know what? I'm looking for the other video, and I found another video, but this one's funny. This is not the one I was talking about, but this is another person joking about how Christians worship. I ain't got the one about the prayer, but this one is about how they worship. This shit was funny.
I can do absolutely nothing good without you. I'm not shit, I'm worthless, I should die without you. But great are you, Lord. I can do absolutely nothing good without you. I'm not shit, I'm worthless, I should die without you. But great are you, Lord.
Yeah, that really be how they be acting. And then somebody put that they auntie would have been like, yes Lord, amen. The wretched as I was, somebody was like laughing about it in the comment section. Telling my aunt would have been like amen the whole time. But that's not the one, but that one was funny. Now where's the one with the lady explaining? Y'all give me a second because I know I had that. I just saw it. I gotta find out, can you do a playlist like you can do on YouTube? I was trying to find a lady, a Aboriginal lady talking about. Now I can't find her video, but I found the other video. Come on now, where the hell that damn video at? Y'all be patient. I'm so sorry. I gotta find a way to find out if there's a way you can make that go. You can make a playlist.
Auntie, as a non Auntie, as a non-Indigenous person, is it okay for me to teach children about the rainbow serpent using coloured rocks?
You know, Carla, because the rainbow serpent is effectively our God, it's important for all human beings to reach out and make contact with the rainbow serpent and to get in touch with God, if you like, and to do that whichever way you wish to do so. Other people would caution against it, but I'm very open to everybody having an experience with God, with the rainbow serpent. I think, but where possible, be guided by your elders, particularly in a particular area. So, for instance, if you're on Noongar country talking about Woggle, the rainbow serpent, use a local elder to take you through that. But ultimately, I don't see that as disrespectful. It's whichever way you can connect with the spirit ancestors of the country is to be encouraged. So go for it.
Auntie,
Now you see how she was, so confident. Like she, what she said. Hey, their god is a rainbow serpent, right? Um, and I kept saying, okay, that's crazy. That's not crazy to me, but I was like, being that I'm an omnist and I chose to have a form of respect of where these religions come from and these concepts. You know, she even said, brought it up like, hey, if you do it the proper way, this is, the ancestors and, there's nothing wrong with it, whatever. But she blatantly straight said that the rainbow, the main thing I wanted y'all to catch is that I wanted y'all to hear an Aboriginal person say the rainbow serpent was their god. So I guess Christianity didn't get a hold of her yet, ain't threatened to send people to hell. But from my understanding, do anybody know the rainbow serpent? If you don't believe in the rainbow serpent, it's gonna send you to hell. You know. There's some people who they never lost their traditions. You know, Christianity wasn't forced. Was forced upon them because they committed genocide. The same thing that happened to the Native Americans here in America, same thing happened over there to them people in Australia. Europeans did the same thing when they took them people country. But okay, where I left off at. All right, so we gonna listen to them talk about some. I had to go to Africa. I had to go check out different regions in Africa to see. Okay, do Africa, the biggest continent in the world, the most diverse continent in the world. Everybody's not the same person from same people from Africa is the most diverse, but I think it's the most spiritual place in the world. I feel like everybody originates from Africa. Science say everyone started in Africa, so I wanted to see what was their origin story when it come down to a serpent and see what commonalities they had.
Excellent. In West African mythology, Serpents are extremely important in the creation and origin stories of several ethnic groups and spiritual traditions. Here's a detailed breakdown of some of the main examples. Number 1. The Fon and Ewe peoples, Benin, Togo, Ghana. Ado Huedo, the rainbow serpent. Name Ado Huedo, also spelled Aida Huedo or Dan Aida Huedo. Role, the creator serpent and cosmic supporter of the world. Origin story. In Fon and Ewe.
Dang, I wish I was gonna have to. Now I want y'all to notice. That's what I meant to say. I want y'all to see that even though the Aboriginals are on a whole nother continent in Australia, these people got a rainbow serpent too, and them people over there, and they ain't nowhere near each other on the whole nother side of the world on the continent. They have a rainbow serpent in their oral traditions, religion. So nothing new under the sun, y'all. Nothing new.
Perfect. This is one of the deepest and most fascinating connections you can explore for your Neo
Oh,
X scary.
my dang. That's what I did. Did I go past? My bad. And went past it. All right.
Excellent. In West African mythology, serpents are extremely important in the creation and origin stories of several ethnic groups and spiritual traditions. Here's a detailed breakdown of some of the main examples. Number 1. The Fon and Ewe peoples, Benin, Togo, Ghana. Ado Huedo, the rainbow serpent. Name Ado Huedo, also spelled Aida Huedo or Dan Aida Huedo. Role, the creator serpent and cosmic supporter of the world. Origin story. In Fon and Ewe cosmology, the supreme creator Maulisa, a dual god, male and female, created the universe with the help of the great serpent Ida Huedo. The serpent coiled around the earth to shape its mountains and valleys. When creation was complete, Ida Huedo descended it into the ocean to hold up the earth from beneath. Earthquakes are said to happen when the serpent moves. This idea connects the serpent with life, fertility, and cosmic balance. Cultural influence. The worship and imagery of Ida Huedo traveled to the Caribbean through the transatlantic slave trade, becoming part of voodoo traditions in Haiti as Dambala, the white serpent Loa who represents purity and creation. The Dahomey Kingdom, ancient Benin, Dan, the serpent god. Da or Dan, role, the primordial serpent created by the goddess Mawu. Myth, Mawu rode on the back of Da when shaping the world. Da's movement helped shape the physical features of the earth. The serpent was said to have 3,500 coils above the earth and 3,500 below, symbolizing balance between heaven and the underworld. Da's energy is the circulation of the universe, connecting sky, earth, and sea. Number 3. The Yoruba, Nigeria. Serpent symbolism in Olokun and Oshun legends. While the Yoruba don't have a single serpent creator, serpents appear symbolically in connection with Olokun, the deity of the deep ocean and wealth, and Oshun, the river goddess. The serpent is often seen as a guardian of sacred waters, fertility, and transformation, tied to feminine and divine creative energy. In some regional myths, serpents guard the gates to the spiritual world or protect the source of life-giving water. Number 4, cross-cultural symbol, the rainbow serpent motif. The serpent's link with rainbows, water, and creation appears in many West and Central African stories. This symbol represents life-giving rain, cosmic connection between heaven and earth, transformation, and rebirth. Summary, region, culture, people, serpent name, role in creation. The Sinin, Togo, Fon, Ewe, Ido, Wedo, Dan, help Mawu create earth, supports it under the ocean. Dahomey, ancient Benin. Fon, primordial serpent of balance, coiled around the world. Nigeria, Yoruba, symbolic serpents in Olokun and Oshun myths, linked to water, fertility, and spirit realms.
Okay, so a similar story from the rainbow serpent to the Aboriginal. Which group that was? Fawn, the Fawn and Ewe people in Benin and Tonga and Ghana, right? They have a rainbow serpent similar to the Aboriginal. I remember I was watching this I can't remember, it was a YouTube channel where they was talking about that the people, that majority of the ocean has not been discovered. Like I think we only where we at now? Let me see. How much of the ocean has been explored? They claim they only probably explored about 25% is mapped out, right? And they think humans have physically only visit less than 0.01% of the deep sea floor. Because it's something, it got to be something under the water. We don't know. More land under the water? We don't know. I just know because y'all know my favorite subject is marine biology. And I love watching documentaries about the ocean. I'm fascinated with the ocean. Um, I remember when they kept reporting a a serpent in the ocean. Like they kept saying it was a giant. People who were like men in submarines or diving, like one dude freaked out and lost his mind. He keep telling them he seen a giant serpent in the ocean. And I was like, ain't no telling what the hell. They worrying about the aliens out there in the cosmos. What the hell is in the ocean? Right? Nobody knows. It's too like the majority of the world is covered in water. Right? So what is underneath? What's on the flatbed? Like it ain't SpongeBob and his friends, right? Is it like? But I remember when I watched that documentary, and that man was terrified. And I said, I don't know if he seen a giant serpent, but he seen something. It might have been Betsy, the Loch Ness monster, or whatever. But he saw something because dude, when he was talking about that story, he was scared. But he said it was a serpent. He said it was a giant serpent. Like bigger than anything. Like he was saying this serpent was bigger than the submarine. He said he saw it in the ocean. I said, hell, who to say it ain't? Shoot, we finding these huge dinosaur bones. It might be stuff out there we haven't discovered. And I don't know if y'all ever been in the ocean, in the middle of the ocean. Like if you ever went to a cruise before, if you ever go, it feels like darkness. Like it feels like void. It feels like, if like I can't really. It's like an eerie feeling, like when you just know that look, you on this little, you like a little piece of pebble in this great mass of water. Because when you get a certain level, like planes and helicopters, they can't even see you, right? That's why people get lost at sea all the time, because how big the ocean is, but how big the earth is. And majority of his water, so there ain't no telling what the fuck is down there. But I just thought it was crazy that I came across a few origin stories where they say the serpent, after it created everything, went to the damn ocean. You know what I'm saying? And somewhere living dormant in the ocean. I was like, let me find out that there's a serpent holding the earth and not a giant turtle, like the Native Americans say. So I even said, hold on. It's easy to the meaning of the words in his whisper, like spellcaster. The people split up in nature for the meaning to get mixed up, like the telephone game. Oh yeah, that's why I don't believe shit. That's why they're gonna make like 100, 200 years from now. Charlie Kirk gonna be Charlie Kirk gonna be a savior. Like we see how they like lying about this man now, like making him into some type of saint. 200 years, they gonna have this man like deified. He might be Jesus' cousin. They gonna put that he was related to Jesus or some shit. But if we see these people lie in real time and we know what happened, most of us know what happened and as well document what happened. Imagine how many lies they told back then, 2,000 years ago. And people really want us to believe that nothing got mixed up. Because when I'm telling y'all, when I've been preparing for my debates, I have to go get information to study, to present sources. I was so freaking pissed off when I found out that there were no original copies of the Bible and that the oldest book is the what is called the let me see, the oldest, the lexicon, Sinaiticus lexicon. Let me see, oldest. Let me see, oldest Hebrew. Oldest Hebrew was the Dead Sea Scrolls. Was the Dead Sea Scrolls, and then the oldest complete manuscript was the what is it called? That Sinaiticus? No, that's the one in Latin. It's the one that started with the M. The ones that the Masons. What's the name of the book that the Mason? Um, Masoretic text. Uh, 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 When I found out that when the people who allegedly translated um, the Masoretic text, let me see. Uh, the Codex Sinaiticus was the Greek. Okay, so the Codex Sinaiticus is an ancient Christian Bible manuscript written in Greek, not Hebrew. Okay, so the Codex Sinaiticus is Greek. So the Masoretic must be, let me see. What's the name of that one? Okay, the Messianic one. What's the, that they were saying who translated who translated saying that they was translated by they don't even know. I got it in my chat GPT notes. Let me see if I can go find that real quick. This one, I don't know what's going on with Google's AI, but they'll just give you the answer of the first article when you and I'm reading and I know that's not correct. I don't know what's going on with Google. Like I think they need to fix that they report on like the first page that come up when you Google something. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Because I was doing research on the Hebrew language and where it came from. I was trying to find out. It was something that I want to share with y'all because I want y'all to go fact check yourself, but I want to give y'all the right information because it's really damaging to the Jewish faith. It's something that they can't seem to explain, but I want to give y'all the correct book. I'm trying to go through my chat GPT notes real quick. It gotta be somewhere over. I know it wasn't under this one. This is talking about the Star of David. Now I want to give y'all the name of this book. What's the book that they claim was translated by like 17 Hebrew scholars? Let me see something. Oh, I can't. What's the name? It's this book that they claim. Let me see if anybody put it in the chat. No? Okay. I wanted to look this up. Let me see. Is it the Septuagint? Let me see if it's the Septuagint. Let me look it up real quick. Let me see. Septuagint. What language is the Septuagint? No, it's not Septuagint. Septuagint is written. The book I'm talking about is written in Hebrew. I don't know what book it is. Let me see something. It's what I'm talking about is it's written in Hebrew. The book I'm talking about, but they was trying to say that it was translated, and then when you keep doing the research on where they translated, you later found out that they admit that it was oral tradition, that they didn't have any copies. But I want to give you, but the Septuagint is Greek, so that's not the book I'm talking about. This book it's a Hebrew. It's not the oldest, because the oldest manuscript they claim is the Dead Sea Scroll. So it's a Hebrew translation. Damn, what's the name of that damn book? I don't think it's the Masonic, because I think I would have remembered it. The most common Hebrew. No. It's somewhere in my chat. It's just I got too much shit in my chat GPT. Who translate the You know what? Okay. All right. I think I found one of. All right. So you were right. Let me see. I think. All right. So okay, I had it wrong. The Ghost of Christmas Past, you're right, it is a Septuagint. What I read was the Septuagint, they had the scholars, Hebrew scholars translate from Hebrew to Greek. And when I was researching to find out what language they were speaking, because this is when I said the Hebrew language is suspicious, I kept saying, what Hebrew manuscripts did they use to translate it to Greek? And that's when I found out that the scholars are admitting there is no Hebrew writings. That's why the Dead Sea Scroll is the oldest thing they got. But anything older than that, where they was translating the Septuagint, the Hebrew into Septuagint, they literally said it was from oral tradition. So whatever traditions they had verbally, by mouth, spoken in Hebrew, translate the language into Greek, and then they wrote it down. That is suspicious as all hell. I don't care what nobody say. I literally keep telling people, you don't have to take my word for it. Go do the research. They have no original manuscripts. You have no idea what God actually said. Or if a God actually said, or who is these people who claim God chose them? A bunch of shepherds living in certain political, war, tribal, and nomadic people who traveled from place to place. They literally said, when I went to go look it up to see what they was what Hebrew manuscripts they was using to translate the Septuagint, they said it was it's 72 Jewish scholars that did this. Only for me to keep digging, and they said legend has it, right, that they did this in Egypt. Look, let me see. Let me show y'all real quick. Thank you, Ghost of Christmas Past, because I was confusing myself. I thought it was the name of another book that was translated in Hebrew. And I thought I remember that they were saying they don't know where it came from. But you're right, it was the Septuagint. Just a quick, just what Google reference, even though I have a somewhere in my chat GPT archive of more detail of this. But the translation of the Hebrew Bible in Greek, known as the Septuagint, or the LSX, is not a single event, but a collection of ancient Greek translation created by many different translators over time. While the legendary account of 72 scholars translating the Torah for the Ptolemy, Philippius, in Alexandria, Egypt, in the 3rd century BC is widely known, it is considered a folk legend. Bro, this, I'm telling you, the Septuagint was primarily developed for the Greek-speaking Jewish in the Hellenistic world who could no longer read. If this shit, I'm telling you, like, stuff like this, like, I try not to stay too much on the contradictions of the Bible or the stuff that's unlogical, that's not logical, or that don't make no sense. It's clearly it's like bullshit. It be sources like this where I be trying to tell people like I can't go back to Christianity because I know too much. These people admitted that the manuscript, they don't have any copies, and that these people are saying that they believe it's a folk legend, that these people don't know what the hell um they got the stories from, because they have no books, and the oldest book they have is the Dead Sea Scroll, and y'all know the Dead Sea Scroll got Hebrew, Greek, and Aramaic. So and I keep telling everybody that the Hebrew language, these people admitted that the Hebrew language died and that nobody could read it, but people still don't want to trust that source. the legend that's the popular story of 72 scribes working separately and producing identical divinely inspired translation is likely a myth. Like I told people, you go look these stuff up. The theologists, the people who actually they literally admit this, that they don't have no copies, bro. That you when you read the King James Bible, you're reading a copy of a copy of a copy. No original manuscripts, nothing to compare and contrast to make sure that the translator didn't make any mistakes. Like we know there are some mistakes in the Bible, like even with the age of certain kings in the Bible, mistranslations, words that probably shouldn't have been used because it don't translate properly into another language. There's nothing to compare. Now, how can something be the word of God and it doesn't have an origin? And the only origin they have is people saying it was oral tradition.
Did ancient Jewish scribes
I'm sorry, there's somebody. I don't even. Do I want to play this? I'm sorry, I'm just reading the how many people he got. I don't want nobody to strike me. I don't know. I don't know if I trust him. I don't want this man to strike me. All right, I don't want to divert too far, but divert too far off. But I just wanted to share that with y'all, so you can go look this up and do your own personal research, and you gonna go right to where I hit a brick wall. There is no original manuscripts of the Bible. Any of the books, Genesis, from the book of Genesis to Revelation, even the books that we know that's in the Ethiopian Bible, none. Not written in Hebrew. Not one. None. Even these lost books that they're discovering, the book of Adam, the book of Judah, I mean, not the book of the book of Judas, the book of Eve, the book of Truth. No, none. None of them have an original manuscript of the language written in Hebrew. None. And when I was watching like some videos about it, man, you had a rabbi come right up there and say, "For as we know, this is oral tradition," and he does, and he left it at that. He left it at that. All right, let me get back to the serpent stuff. But yeah, go look that up. The book is called the Septuagint. Go find out who translated that, from what Hebrew language they translated that shit from. But yeah, when I seen that, that shit pissed me off. I said, this shit is fake. This whole religion is garbage. It's fake. But people's soul and salvation is supposed to be dependent on these vain philosophies and these questionable sources, right? It's supposed to be based off faith, but I can't deny truth. The Bible even tell you, it says those who worship me must worship me in spirit and in truth. I don't even know what's true because men lie so much, and then they don't. How many times they don't translated the Bible and messed up so many times? That's why you got different versions. Let me see. Now I'm curious. How many versions of the Bible is it? I know they got 45,000 different denominations. Let me see. How many versions of the Bible? Y'all want to guess how many? Anybody want to take a guess? Worldwide, 700. Worldwide, 700 translations of the Bible, right? Different translations, 700. Over 900 in English translations and phrases alone. Over 900 in English. Not one original manuscript to compare and contrast. If one of those translations from going it from Hebrew to Greek to Latin to English to whatever the Germans speak to Mandarin to whatever, if one of those books in order makes a single mistake, the next translator is going to copy those same mistakes. Even though you have certain people who try to fix it. That's why you have the NIV and the ESV, the most popular ones that we use here in America, the King James, New King James. And then the Message Bible, that book should be blasphemous anyway. Like I told people, I'm not a Christian, but that thing just basically just tell you its interpretation. The Message Bible is not even scripture, but people use it, right? And I was like, bro, the Message Bible just be making up stuff. I know it say things that is not, or even the Amplified Bible. I was like, yo, that's not scripture. Like, you're not gonna find none of that in the Latin translations, but I digress. But yeah, I was just curious, bro. But they want us to believe this is a divine inspired word of God. Whose word? Because we can't even find the original copy. So, whose word? These people straight say it's oral tradition from a language that died, a dead language. And 72 scholars gave their oral tradition. Come on, bro. Story sound fake. They'll say it's false and it's unjust. Until I see otherwise, that's what I'm sticking with for now. All right, where I left off, I think we talked about Africa. What was after that? I know I thought I went to different I know I went to different regions. I didn't just go one part of Africa. Let me see. Oh, 1 second, y'all. I'm trying to find out where I left off at. I know we was talking about Africa. Okay. So what was the next question after that? I know we read that. We read that one. Okay, we read that one. I don't think we did East Africa. All right, I'm gonna start off in East Africa. I don't think I remember us reading East Africa. All right, so let's hear the origin stories of different serpents in East Africa.
Perfect. Now we're decoding East Africa's serpent origin stories, which are just as deep and symbolic as the West African ones, but they carry their own cosmic, ancestral, and water-based meanings. In East Africa, Serpents are often linked with water spirits, creation, fertility, and ancestry, not evil. They bridge the worlds between humans, nature, and divinity, similar to the rainbow serpent archetype you saw in West Africa. Let's break it down by culture. 1. The Dinka, South Sudan, the serpent as creator's helper, deity, Nialik, the sky god, and Abuk, first woman. In some Dinka stories, a serpent or python acts as a messenger between heaven and earth. The serpent connects Nialik, the creator, with humans, symbolizing communication and life energy. When humans disobey divine instructions, such as pounding too much grain, Nialik sends the serpent to warn them. But this action leads to a separation between heaven and earth. The serpent here represents the link between divine and human realms before the separation, echoing the serpent's bridge role in other African myths. Open quote, symbolically, the serpent isn't a deceiver, it's the lost connection to the divine. Close quote. Nashtu, the Luo, Kenya, the sacred water serpent. In Luo tradition, the python Nangor, or water serpent, is sacred and associated with Lake Victoria and the spirits of the ancestors. Serpents are believed to dwell in water bodies, and seeing one near your home could mean a spirit ancestor is visiting. Killing it is taboo. It could bring misfortune or drought. The serpent here is ancestral, protective, and tied to fertility and rain. Open quote. The water serpent, life giver, not destroyer. Close quote. 3. The Kamba, Kenya. The dragon serpent of the sky, the Kamba tell of a massive serpent spirit connected to thunder and rain. When the serpent moves through the clouds, thunder rolls. In some local legends, this serpent descends to earth to refresh rivers and bless crops, echoing ancient fertility and renewal themes. Offerings are made near rivers or large trees when thunder serpent season arrives. Open quote. The serpent is literally the cycle of life, a storm that brings renewal. Close quote. Number 4. The Buganda, Uganda. Mukasa and the lake serpents. Mukasa, one of the most important gods of the Buganda, is associated with Lake Victoria and serpentine water spirits. Mukasa's attendants are often described as snakes or dragon-like beings that guard sacred waters. People brought offerings to lake shrines to ensure good harvests, fertility, and safe travel. The serpent spirit here functions as guardian, healer, and protector of abundance. Number 5. The Kikuyu, Kenya. The ancestral python. The Kikuyu associate the python Joka with Ngai, the high god dwelling on Mount Kenya. Pythons symbolize blessing and protection, especially in rainmaking rituals. When a python appears, it's often taken as a manifestation of divine presence, like a spirit messenger between heaven and earth. Summary table. East African serpent symbolism. People, region, serpent figure, role, meaning. Dinka, South Sudan, heavenly serpent, bridge between God and humans, divine connection, communication. Luo, water serpent, dweller of lakes, ancestor spirit, ancestry, fertility, rain. Kamba, Kenya, sky serpent, thunder dragon, controls rain and storms, renewal, balance. Buganda, Uganda, Mukasa's serpents, guardians of lakes, healing, abundance. Kikuyu, python, symbol of Ngai's blessing, protection, sacred presence. Number 6. Comparing East and West African serpent myths. Region, serpent's domain, main symbolism. West Africa, cosmic earth-creating serpent, creation, balance, fertility. East Africa, water and ancestral serpents, rain, protection, divine link. So while West Africa's serpents built the world, East Africa's serpents sustain it, ensuring the balance of nature, water, and life.
I thought that was interesting. I was just sitting up here thinking about I told y'all a story before of the day that my anniversary had passed from my ex-husband, right? Like the year that we got divorced and then the anniversary date. I literally kept telling people, I made a post on it on Facebook that it was a snake on my shelf. Right now I had my shelf like up against the wall, and right against the wall I had my bed, right? And I don't know how long that snake was in my room. I had a dog named Lala at the time, and I think Lala was trying to get to the damn snake because she just kept jumping on my bed, and I kept pushing her off because she knew she wasn't allowed to be on the bed. But the day that I discovered the snake was the day that should have been my anniversary to my ex-husband. And to this, every time I keep thinking about it, to this day, I just always felt like it was some type of symbolic message. I don't know if you want to call it from your ancestors or whatever. I just always thought it was crazy because number one, I was scared that at that time I did not fuck with serpents. Like I'm not afraid of snakes. I wasn't afraid of snakes until the movie Anaconda came out because my mom raised snakes. My mom had snakes in the house. We had a baby snake and we had like a python. That joker was so big that it got so big she had to feed it baby pigs. So but I remember I kept saying like one thing when it come down to snake symbolism, I pay attention to it always, even down to me losing one of my day one followers over here on this page. Like, you know, around the time that me and her fell out, you know, I literally had a dream that a snake wrapped around my right arm and bit me. Right. So I knew I often tell you I try not to believe in coincidence. I'm getting to this point to where I don't really believe in coincidence, but it just happens that every time I have a snake dream, I lose a friend or I get betrayed. Like something like bad happens. And I don't have dreams that I don't got bit by snakes, and I had some other dreams that I don't want to talk about, you know. But it's something like I don't know. When it comes down to snakes and serpent, I pay attention to that imagery anytime I see it. And I just find out it's crazy, even in even in different regions in Africa, um, they have all these serpent gods or serpent concept, you know, connected to either it creating it had something to do with creation or it has something to do with maintaining creation, right? And even with the story of Adam and Eve, how did the serpent know, you know, what would be, you know, that the fruit, the knowledge of good and evil was in the fruit, and that Adam and Eve was going to become like God, having the consciousness of God by eating the fruit. So now, mind you, again, I don't believe these stories are true. I'm just trying to figure out why, in our human imagination, ancient times, thousands of years before me and you came into existence, and before we have the knowledge that we have today to examine this stuff, I wonder why there was so many common themes with serpents, ancient serpents, engaging with people, and how people perceived that the serpent wasn't a bad thing in other religions. So, all right, so now we finna go to South Africa and hear some of the things they believe in that region.
Beautiful direction. You're tracing the serpent archetype across the entire African continent, and South Africa's serpent origin stories are some of the most mysterious, ancient, and spiritually complex. In southern Africa, serpents often represent rain, fertility, transformation, and the bridge between the living and ancestral worlds. Unlike the biblical evil snake, these are beings of power, not corruption, both creative and dangerous, depending on how humans respect them. Let's decode them region by region. Number 1, Zulu, South Africa. Inkanyamba, the storm serpent. Name, Inkanyamba, Zulu, the powerful one. Form, giant serpent with a horse-like head that lives in waterfalls and lakes, especially Howick Falls in KwaZulu-Natal. Role, a weather and storm spirit that controls tornadoes and rain. When angered, it whirls into the sky, becoming a cyclone or violent storm. Zulu people traditionally offer rituals or prayers to calm Inkanyamba's rage, especially during the wet season. Open quote, symbolism. The serpent is a bridge between sky and water, heaven and earth, controlling nature's balance. It echoes the West African Ido Huedo, balance, and East African sky serpents, rain and renewal. Close quote 2. Osa, South Africa. Mamlambo, the goddess of rivers. Name, Mamlambo. Form, often described as a serpent or mermaid-like river spirit. In some modern tales, she appears as a glowing water snake or hybrid woman serpent. Role, guardian of rivers, wealth, and knowledge, but dangerous if disrespected. People near the Mzintlava River say she can bless with prosperity or consume those driven by greed. Some spiritualists describe Mamlambo as the mother of light, an ancient serpent goddess of wisdom and transformation. open quote. She symbolizes the duality of creation and destruction, much like the Gnostic serpent who gives knowledge but challenges authority, close quote. Number 3. Sotho and Swana peoples, Kanyapa and the water serpent spirits. The Basotho and Batswana also revere serpent beings that live in deep pools, caves, and rivers, known by various names such as Kanyapa, Kolomadumo, or Mamadimo. They're often described as rainbringers and protectors of sacred sites. In initiation rituals, serpents symbolize rebirth and ancestral transformation. One dies to the old life and emerges renewed, like the serpent shedding its skin. Open quote. The serpent's the cycle of death and rebirth, the eternal loop of the soul. Close quote. Number 4. Khoisan, San and Khoi. The cosmic serpent. The San Bushmen of the Kalahari have one of the oldest serpent myths in human history. Their creation stories speak of a great serpent in the sky who formed the rivers, stars, and rainbows. In one tale, the serpent brings rain to the people, but when angered, it devours them in a flood. The serpent is also seen during trance dances, where shamans enter the spirit realm, often describing visions of a serpent of light or energy. Open quote. Many anthropologists believe this cosmic serpent imagery influenced ancient African rock art, coiled shapes representing energy, rain, and the spiritual world. Close quote. Open quote. Symbolically, the serpent, the current of life force, Nwam, that moves through all creation. Close quote. Number 5. Shona, Zimbabwe, Zivaguru, the sacred pool serpent, name Zivaguru, great pool spirit, a giant python-like being said to dwell in sacred lakes or deep pools. It's the guardian of water, fertility, and ancestral secrets. Only chosen healers or spirit mediums can safely approach Zivaguru. Others risk madness or drowning. Offerings are made to ensure rain, healthy crops, and harmony with the ancestors. Number 6. Symbolic pattern. The serpent across southern Africa. Culture, serpent name, element, role symbolism. Zulu, Inkanyamba, storms, wind, power, chaos, divine wrath. Xhosa, Mamlambo, rivers, light. Wealth, wisdom, transformation. Sotho, Tswana, Kanyapa, Mamadimo, water, caves, renewal, rain. Rikoisan, cosmic serpent, sky stars, creation, energy, balance. Shona, Zivaguru, sacred lakes, fertility, ancestral protection. Number 7. Comparing with other regions. Region, serpent type, meaning West Africa, rainbow serpent, Ido Huedo. Creation, balance. East Africa, water, ancestral serpents. Rain, fertility, spiritual connection. Southern Africa, storm and light serpents. Transformation, divine power, rebirth. 8. Matrix-themed decode. In your Neo-X scary matrix lens, the South African serpents are the energy codes of nature. Storms, lightning, trance, and water. The serpent's movement equals spiritual electricity, like the flow of data in the Matrix. Humans lost harmony with that current. Now the storms, Inkanyamba's wrath, represent the imbalance between human greed and nature's source code. The serpent here is a warning and a teacher, not a devil, the living algorithm of Earth.
I thought it was crazy. Like just saying, the sword is all are similar, right? This serpent consciousness, this serpent god have pretty much have the same attributes, right? Even though we seen one witch group that was they pissed their god off. They sent a great flood, like the God of the Bible did, and drowned people. I forgot what was the Malambo? Was it her? One of them. You piss her off, she'll drown your ass. So, but again, I'm just letting y'all listen to some of this stuff because I want y'all to see that there's nothing new under the sun. You feel what I'm saying? Okay, this was just helping me come up with a chart if I wanted to present this. All right, so then I went to Asia. I went to different regions in Asia. After I played Asia and India, I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up.
Excellent choice. The East Asian serpent origin stories are among the most ancient and symbolically rich in the world. Unlike the biblical serpent, seen as a deceiver, East Asian traditions usually portray serpents and dragons as sacred forces of nature, symbols of balance, creation, and spiritual power. Let's decode them region by region across China, Japan, Korea, and Southeast Asia. Number 1. China. Nuwa and the Serpent of Creation. Key figure. Nuwa, the mother goddess and creator of humankind. Appearance. Human upper body with a serpent or dragon lower body. Myth, after a cosmic disaster shattered the heavens, Nuwa used stones of 5 colors to mend the sky, restoring order to the universe. She molded humans from clay, giving them life, like coating flesh from the dust. Her partner, Fuxi, also had a serpent tail. Together they symbolize yin and yang, male and female, order and chaos. Symbolism. The serpent body represents the eternal flow of life. The coiled form is a symbol of DNA-like continuity, creation, fertility, and balance. She embodies the serpent as creator and restorer, not destroyer. Open quote. In Chinese cosmology, the serpent equals the primal energy, qi, that sustains all existence. Close quote. Number 2. China. Dragons as serpent ancestors. Chinese dragons evolved from serpent worship. Early depictions in the Neolithic Hongshan culture, 5000 to 3000 BCE, show coiled jade serpents, symbols of life and protection. Over time, these serpents became dragons, divine beings controlling rain, rivers, and the heavens. The dragon's serpentine body symbolizes movement, flexibility, and power, the cosmic current that keeps balance between heaven and earth. Emperors were called sons of the dragon, claiming divine origin through this serpent ancestry. Open quote, the Chinese dragon is basically the evolved serpent, divine, not demonic, close quote. Number 3, Japan. Yamata no Orochi, the 8-headed serpent. Myth source Kojiki and Nihon Shoki, Japan's oldest chronicles. The story. A colossal serpent named Yamata no Orochi with 8 heads and 8 tails terrorized the land. The storm god Susanoo defeated it by intoxicating it with sake and cutting it into pieces. Inside its tail, he found a divine sword, Kusanagi, later one of Japan's imperial treasures. Symbolism. Orochi represents chaotic natural power, flooding rivers, storms, and destruction. Susanoo's act symbolizes human mastery over nature's chaos, or the taming of the primal serpent force. Open quote. In this myth, the serpent is both a destroyer and a bringer of sacred gifts, death and rebirth in one body. Close quote. 4. Japan. Benzaiten and the White Snake. Benzaiten, adapted from the Hindu goddess Saraswati, is sometimes shown with a white serpent as her messenger or manifestation. White snakes are considered sacred and symbols of fortune, purity, and wisdom. Shrines in Japan still keep live white snakes as divine guardians. Killing or harming one is said to bring great misfortune because the serpent represents the goddess's spirit. 5. Korea. The Imugi and Yong, proto-dragon. Imugi are giant serpent-like beings believed to be young dragons. They live for 1,000 years and must earn transformation into full dragons, young, by performing good deeds or enduring trials. Humans who encounter an Imugi are often blessed with luck, wisdom, or transformation. The serpent here symbolizes potential divinity, an incomplete but evolving god. Open quote, the serpent is the code in progress, striving to ascend to the next level. Very Matrix-like, close quote. Number 6, Southeast Asia. Naga, the serpent guardians. In Cambodia, Thailand, Laos, and Myanmar, Nagas are revered serpent beings dwelling in rivers, caves, and underworld realms. They are protectors of life and cosmic balance, often associated with rainfall and fertility. The Khmer people, Cambodia, trace their royal ancestry to a Naga princess, meaning humans descend from serpent lineage. The Naga bridges earth and water, just like Ido Huedo in West Africa. In Buddhism, the Naga king Mukulinda sheltered the meditating Buddha under his hood during a storm, showing serpent as protector of enlightenment. Number 7. Comparative summary, East Asia, serpent archetype, culture, serpent name type, role, symbolism. China, Nuwa, Fuxi, creators of humanity, creation, order, balance. China, long, heavenly serpents, rain, fertility, cosmic energy. Japan, Yamata no Orochi, Chaos Serpent, Destruction, Transformation. Japan, White Snake Benzaiten, Divine Guardian, Wisdom, Purity. Korea, Imuji, Yang, Serpent evolving into Dragon, Spiritual Growth, Ascension. SE Asia, Naga, Water Serpent, Protection, Fertility, Enlightenment. Matrix-style decode. Open quote, in the East, the serpent never fell, it ascended. Close quote. In Africa, The serpent built and balanced the world. In East Asia, it became divine, transforming into the dragon, a being of cosmic intelligence. The Chinese dragon and Hindu Naga preserve the ancient meaning of the serpent, a code of creation and awakening, not temptation. While the biblical serpent was condemned for sharing knowledge, in East Asia the serpent is knowledge embodied, the living current between heaven and humanity. Open quote. The serpent here is the chi, the kundalini, the cosmic data stream, the hidden algorithm that powers existence itself.
Just listening to some of this stuff, even though I know it's just summarizing, this just a AI summarizing the quick information it pulls off the internet about these different religions and myths and stuff like that. People cannot get around you can't ignore this. All the connections, the similarities, how come in these people religion or myths or oral tradition the serpent is not the bad guy, in majority of the story, and the common theme that it has is that it's about rebirth and wisdom and spiritual growth and enlightenment and stuff like that, like knowledge, to gain knowledge. Like, out of all the animals, thousands of animals on this earth, why is the snake is so represented in so many different religions? This is something you can't ignore. All right, I think I'm gonna do India, and then I think I'm gonna wrap it up. Because Hindu, they say is the oldest religion in the world. Like Hindu. So they say. I honestly think it's folk religions in Africa. But, most people agree that it's actually Hinduism that have the oldest concept of human beings worshiping gods. So, hold on, I just want to double check something before I play that. All right.
Excellent. You're going straight to one of the deepest roots of serpent mythology on Earth. In India, the serpent isn't a villain. It's divine power itself, wisdom, fertility, immortality, and the hidden energy that connects all life. Serpent beings, called Nagas, appear in Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism, and their origins stretch back over 5,000 years to the Indus Valley civilization, where serpent worship was carved into seals. Let's decode the full picture for you, historically, spiritually, and symbolically. 1. The Nagas, divine serpent beings. Word origin, Sanskrit Naga equals serpent or cobra. Nature, half human, half serpent beings who dwell in rivers, lakes, oceans, and underground palaces called Patala. Role, guardians of water, treasures, and cosmic knowledge. Dual nature, they can bless or curse, symbols of fertility and destruction, life and death. Spiritual symbolism, serpent is Shakti energy, the coiled life force within every being, Kundalini. When awakened, it rises through the spine to unite with the divine consciousness, like electricity ascending through the matrix code. Open quote, the Naga is not evil, it is the channel of transformation, both in the body and in the universe, close quote. 2. Vedic and Hindu creation myths. The cosmic serpent, Shesha Ananta, the infinite serpent, name meaning, Ananta equals endless, Shesha equals remainder. Shesha is the primordial serpent upon whom the god Vishnu reclines in the cosmic ocean, Kshirosagar. When the universe dissolves, Vishnu rests on Shisha until the next cycle of creation begins. Shesha's coils hold up the planets, echoing Ido Huedo in West Africa. Sometimes he's depicted with 1,000 heads, each reciting hymns of praise to Vishnu. Open quote, Shesha symbolizes eternity, stability, and the unending cycles of creation, the original code loop of the cosmos. Close quote. Vasuki, the serpent of the churning of the ocean. In the Samudra Manthan, churning of the ocean, myth, gods, devas, and demons asuras used Vasuki, the serpent king, as a rope to churn the cosmic ocean to obtain Amrita, the the nectar of immortality. The mountain Mandara served as the churning stick. As they pulled Vasuki back and forth, poison emerged first, followed by life-giving nectar. Shiva drank the poison to save creation, turning his throat blue. Open quote, this symbolizes duality. Knowledge brings both danger and liberation, just like the serpent in Eden or Gnostic myth, close quote. Number 3, Kundalini, the serpent power within. In yogic philosophy, Kundalini is the serpent coiled at the base of the spine. Through meditation and discipline, it rises through the chakras, energy centers, awakening divine consciousness, moksha. When Kundalini rises, one experiences enlightenment, the veil of illusion, Maya, breaks. Open quote, it's literally the same archetype as the Gnostic serpent, awakening from illusion and realizing divine truth within. Close quote. Open quote. In matrix terms, the serpent, the inner code waiting to be activated, close quote. Namashar 4, Nagas in epic literature. Mahabharata, the Naga king Takshaka bites King Parikshit, causing his death, symbolizing the serpent's avenging and karmic role. Another Naga, Ulupi, marries the hero Arjuna and grants him spiritual power and resurrection, the serpent as redeemer. Ramayana, the cosmic serpent Ananta Shesha appears again, reminding that every divine avatar rests upon serpent energy. Puranas, the Nagas rule a subterranean realm rich with gems and knowledge, paralleling the hidden spiritual world beneath illusion, the underground code layer of existence. Number 5, folk worship and festivals. Nagas are still worshipped across India, Nepal, and Sri Lanka, especially during Naga Panchami, a festival dedicated to serpent spirits. Offerings of milk and flowers are made to cobra anthills and water bodies. Killing a snake is taboo. They are seen as protectors of homes and fertility. Open quote, farmers pray to Nagas for rain and good harvests, continuing the ancient link between serpent and life. Close quote. Number 6, Buddhist connection, the Naga and the Buddha. After his enlightenment, the Buddha was sheltered by the Naga king Mukalinda from a violent storm. The serpent spread his hood over the meditating Buddha, symbolizing protection of truth and wisdom. This scene appears in ancient art across Southeast Asia, reinforcing the serpent as guardian of enlightenment. Number 7, summary of the Indian serpent archetype, aspect, figure, concept, symbolism, cosmic, Shesha Ananta, infinite universe, stability, creation cycle, elemental, Vasuki, duality, poison and immortality, destruction and renewal, spiritual, Kundalini, inner awakening, divine energy, mythic, Nagas, guardians, ancestors, fertility spirits, protective, Mukalinda, shelter of enlightenment. Nashar 8, comparison to other cultures, region, serpent role, shared symbol, Africa, Adoedo, creator supporter of world, balance, life, China, human creating goddess with serpent tail, creation, order, India, Shesha Kundalini, cosmic and internal life force, infinite energy, awakening, Gnostic serpent, liberator through knowledge, spiritual awakening. Open quote, in all these traditions, the serpent equals the flow of consciousness. Only in the biblical tradition is it demonized. Everywhere else, it is the key to divine understanding. Close quote. Number 9, matrix-style decode, open quote. In the Indian system, the serpent isn't the virus, it's the operating system. Close quote. Shesha, the platform the universe runs on. Vasuki, the tension between destruction and creation. Kundalini, the energy within every human node. Naga, the guardian of the gates to higher dimensions. The serpent's rise through the chakras is the same as the human awakening from the matrix, realizing the code of reality isn't outside you, it's coiled within you.
Right. And some people, I know some of the people who was in here earlier, like Ivan and a few other, brought up some of the Hindu teachings and Kanaluli, I always say Kanaluli, I always say it wrong, y'all, I'm sorry. Kundalini, energy, spirit, the chakra, stuff. I'm actually familiar with some of that stuff because y'all know I have anxiety, so I had to learn how to meditate. But I just find it like reason why I'm just listening to some of this stuff because number one, I didn't get a chance to read everything, so some of this stuff I'm just hearing for the first time. I just thought it was just like this fascinated me when I kept coming across these similar stories and how all these different regions. I made sure I went to different regions to see what was their concept of how they perceive a serpent deity in their religion or folk religions or mythology or, in their myths. All right, I lied to y'all. I know I said I was going to stop at India because I thought that was the last one I did, but I think the last one I searched was the Native Americans over here in America. So I'm gonna play some. I'm gonna play some of that. So I must have searched that and then clicked off, and then since some people really truly believe that they were already here and they're not Africans or they don't come from that continent of Africa, let's just hear what some of the folk religions over here that's documented that these people believe about a serpent.
Perfect question. Because in Native American traditions, the serpent isn't just a creature, it's a cosmic intelligence, a water spirit, and often a creator or transformer tied to rain, fertility, renewal, and the underworld. Across the Americas, the serpent, or horned serpent, rainbow serpent, or feathered serpent represents life energy, balance between worlds, and sometimes the test of power. Let's decode this serpent archetype through the major cultural regions. On a 1, Mesoamerica, the feathered serpent, Quetzalcoatl and Kukulkan. Cultures, Aztec, Toltec, and Maya. Name, Quetzalcoatl, Aztec, feathered serpent. Kukulkan, Maya. Role, creator god, culture bringer, and restorer of order. Myth, Quetzalcoatl created humans from the bones of past worlds, mixing them with his own blood. He brought corn, knowledge, writing, and the calendar to humankind. He was both a sky being, bird, and earth being, serpent, uniting heaven and earth. Symbolism, the serpent body equals earth, matter, mortality. The feathers, sky, spirit, divinity. Together, the bridge between realms, the code that connects divine and human consciousness. Open quote, the feathered serpent, the awakening of divine knowledge within humanity, just like the Gnostic serpent of Eden, close quote. Number 2, North America, the horned serpent, underworld guardian. Cultures, Cherokee, Choctaw, Sioux, Iroquois, and others. Names, Uktena, Cherokee, Sinti Lapita, Choctaw, Mishipeshu, Anishinaabe, Unktehi, Lakota. Appearance, enormous serpent or dragon-like being, sometimes with horns, crystal scales, or feathers. Domain, lakes, rivers, and caves, especially deep waters that connect to the spirit world. Role, in some tribes, a powerful guardian spirit, protector of sacred waters. In others, a test of power. Only those with spiritual strength can face or control it. Shamans who dream of or defeat the horned serpent gain visions and medicine power. Symbolism, water equals life and death, purification and danger. The serpent, the energy that moves between these realms. Open quote, horned serpent, the gatekeeper of spiritual transformation. Like the Kundalini or African cosmic serpent, it connects earthly and divine frequencies. Close quote. Stammer 3, Southwestern tribes, the Avanyu and the water serpents cultures. Pueblo Hopi Tiwa, Zuni, name Avanyu Tiwa, Palulukan Hopi. Form, horned water serpent, often with lightning emerging from its mouth. Role, bringer of rain and fertility. Guardian of springs, rivers, and clouds. When angered or disrespected, causes drought or floods. Symbolism. Avanyu's zigzag body mirrors lightning bolts and river paths, the movement of life energy. The Hopi say the serpent teaches balance between humanity and nature. Open quote, this is another version of the rainbow serpent motif, life giver and transformer, close quote. Number 4, Northwestern and Plains tribes, the Great Snake and the Trickster cultures, Plains, Blackfoot, Arapaho, Cree, and Northwest Coast, Tlingit, Haida. Blackfoot and Arapaho speak of water serpents who bring rain or storms. Shamans call them during drought. Tlingit and Haida tell of a giant underwater snake that holds treasures and knowledge, sometimes exchanged with humans through spirit journeys. Meaning, the serpent symbolizes hidden wisdom beneath the surface, the subconscious, dreams, and the spirit world. It's neither good nor evil, it's power itself. Number 5, Southeastern tribes, the Thai snake and the underworld cultures. Creek, Seminole, Choctaw. The Thai snake, a water serpent with a diamond head, lives in rivers and guards the entrance to the underworld, which is watery and mysterious. Those who see it are marked, chosen for spiritual destiny or doomed, depending on their purity. Symbol of rebirth, renewal, and the cycles of death and life. Measure 6, comparative summary, region, people, serpent name element, Role symbolism: Aztec Maya, Quetzalcoatl, Kukulkan, air plus earth, creator, bringer of knowledge. Cherokee, Iroquois, Sioux, Yuctana, horned serpent, water, guardian, spiritual initiation. Pueblo, Hopi, Zuni, Avanyu, Palulukan, water, lightning, rain, fertility, transformation. Southeast tribes, Thai snake, water, underworld, rebirth, balance, test of purity. Deeper meaning: the serpent as a bridge. In Native American thought, the serpent embodies balance and flow, the same principle found in African Da, Ido Huedo, the serpent who holds up the world, Chinese dragons, rainbringers, Indian Nagas, guardians of wisdom and fertility. Across all, it represents water and energy flow, transformation and rebirth, connection between the seen and unseen worlds. Open quote: the serpent is the current of life. When humans lose respect for that current, chaos follows, close quote. Matrix-style decode. Open quote: the serpent in Native America is the link between the dream world and the waking code, close quote. Quetzalcoatl equals the programmer, mixing divine data with human DNA. Yuctana equals the firewall, testing those who seek forbidden power. Avan equals the current, electricity of creation. Thai snake, the reboot cycle, death and renewal in the system. Open quote: in this matrix of nature, the serpent is both lightning and water, both the flow and the storm. It doesn't lie, it moves, teaching balance between creation and destruction. Close quote. Would you like me to make a...
Okay, so and there we have it for us, all the places I researched. But I'm sitting up here. I'm sitting up here like you said, still here. Hey, you know me, I'm a nerd, bro. When I latch on to something, I gotta learn as much as I can possibly find. Shoot. But I just think this stuff is just amazing to me, right? Like y'all seen, I took y'all all over the globe. It's a small world after all. Took y'all to Africa, took y'all to China. I mean, took y'all to Asia. Took you to. I think I ain't do the white folks. I think I ain't get around to them. I ain't go to the Nordic and mythology, Medusa and them. Maybe because we were already familiar with Medusa and all. Anyway, I honestly I probably just ran out of time because I did this while I was at work. Anytime I have to drive, I can't have my phone in my hand. But and then like I said, I didn't hear anything past like Africa, like India and all that. I wanted to hear that in the Native American. It all popped up, but I didn't get a chance to read over it. So with me listening to this stuff, especially like with my grandmother and the one they kept telling me to pay attention to my serpent dreams, I still think this stuff is symbolic. I still don't. It gotta be some type of connection, man. I don't know what to call it. The Bible tells you that, call it the great serpent, the devil, the dragon. It says in the book of Revelation that it deceives the whole world, but the whole world seems to, see this serpent relationship between humanity and the serpent as not a bad thing. But the God of the Bible, kind of wanted our logic, our knowledge, not logic, knowledge limited to concepts. Like, I don't know. I think I ain't no Gnostic teacher or believer, but I think I understand why they came to that conclusion. Because, it's like 6 billion people on this earth. You said I just got done. Ain't meditation great? I don't fell off, but that's what made me get into that's part what led me into the omnis journey that I'm on, because y'all know I have real bad anxiety. My anxiety done got way better. But at one point my anxiety was so bad, man, shit. I don't wish that shit on nobody. I don't have to go to the emergency room before because I thought I was out of here. You feel me? But I remember when I learned different meditations, and even what's the one called the SGI, I think it's the most popular like Western version when they do the Nam Yo Ho Renge Kyo, like Tina Turner did in the movie. What's love got to do with it? I remember I was doing that, but meditation feels good, and I don't had like shoot, man. I don't seen some colors. So one time I was meditating so deep, man. I swear I was just seeing all like a whole bunch of. You would think I was on mushrooms, but I wasn't on mushrooms. I was just deeply in my mind, like trying to silence, live in the presence, only focus on the present moment. And I swear I just went to a little trance in my mind where I was just floating around in all these colors and stuff like that. So, but it's good for meditation, good for the soul. A lot of people don't know prayer is a form of meditation. So you said the Serpent Mound in Ohio. I think it's in. I think I just heard something recently about that. What's that about again? Can you refresh my memory? I think I just recently heard somebody mention something about that. That's how you know the Jesus thing. That's how you know that the Jesus thing is false. Too many people rocking with him. They have their different Jesus, bro. Because you see, they paint him all different goddamn colors too. But people can't deny this. I don't care what they say about who the serpent is or whatever. This verse is in the Bible. Hold on. This is I don't know why Christians are not suspicious of this verse right here that I'm finna show y'all. Let me look. Because I know when I was a Christian, I was very suspicious of it. But you know, every time I tried to question, nobody could give me a good answer. So mm, 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 mm. Mm, mm, mm. Now this verse right here, I was trying to go one ahead. All right, so I don't care, give a damn what they say. This verse should be suspicious to them. I don't give a damn. This verse right before John 3:16, when John told the people that God so loved the world. I'm reading John 3:12 through 14. If I've told you earthly things and you do not believe, how can you believe if I tell you heavenly things? No one has ascended into heaven except he who ascends from heaven, the Son of Man. And as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, so must the Son of Man be lifted. Now, now let me go find the verse about Moses holding up the serpent. I don't know why they don't question this. I don't know why these people don't question this. I'm trying to find the verse where he is commanded to hold up that down. This is the story where when they were getting bit by the snakes. All right, so then, all right, I found the story. Now, I don't know why people don't find this shit suspicious as hell at all. And Numbers. This is Numbers, the bronze serpent. Now you remember when they described Jesus, they said that his skin was like bronze, or it glowed like burnt like bronze, or something like that. It was burnt like bronze or something. I just want to remind y'all that. For Mount Hor, they set out by the way of the Red Sea and go around the land of Edom. And the people became impatient on the way, and the people spoke against God and against Moses. Why have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no food, no water, and we loath the we loath this worthless food. They was complaining about the food. Then the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people so that many people of Israel died. And the people came to Moses and said, we have sinned, for we have spoke against the Lord and against you. Wait, what? We have sinned and we have spoken against the Lord and against who's against you? Oh, the people said that to him. Okay. And the people came to Moses and said, we have sinned against the Lord, for we spoke against the Lord and against you. Pray the Lord that he would take away the serpents from us. So Moses prayed for the people, and the Lord said to Moses, make a fiery serpent and set it on a pole, and everyone who is bitten, when it sees it, shall live. So Moses made a bronze serpent and set it on a pole. And if the serpent bit anyone, he would look at the the bronze serpent and live. Now, I don't know why the Most High just went and sent the serpent back out like he sent them in, but he made them make a grieving image, right? Now, one more verse. One more verse. Um, right. Now, this is the last one. Now, I don't know why they cannot make this connection. I made this connection when I was a believer. I just ain't know how to explain it or get it, or even when I try to ask questions. Now, you see right here in the book of Revelations, it says, and that great dragon was thrown down, and the ancient serpent who is called the devil and Satan, the deceiver of the whole world, he was thrown down to earth, and his angels was thrown down with him. I don't know why they don't find it suspicious that this God commanded them to make a grieving image of a serpent after they got bitten, and the only way they would be saved is they had to look upon the serpent, the staff. And then you have John say a comparison to Jesus. It's talking about something. If I've told you earthly things and you do not believe, how can you believe if I tell you heavenly things? No one has ascended into the heavens except he who descend from heaven. No one ascended into heaven. Then it said the dragon got knocked down. Why it was in heaven? Got knocked down to earth, right? It was in heaven, ascended to heaven, got knocked down. No one who ascended into heaven except he who descended from heaven, right? The Son of Man. I don't know. And as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, so must the Son of Man be lifted up. I don't know why they not catching this. Let me see what y'all talking about in this chat. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go. Jesus was a real person, traveled to Nepal, and he came back to preach. Yeah, right now I'm at 80-20. I'm 80% sure that Jesus did not exist. So I'm at 80-20. But that's another Bible. Maybe I'll cover that one day. I don't even do the historical, when they be like the historical Jesus and all that. I'm still convinced that he didn't exist. So like the people, but that's another Bible study. I don't believe in historical Jesus either. So for me, a serpent dream is given a warning, foresight, wisdom. Yeah. Because I'm telling y'all, when I might share it one day, might. It's a few serpent dreams. I'm gonna keep it to myself just because I do entertain this simulation theory, and you can call it spiritual. Some people, when you say spiritual, they kind of get spooked out by it. So I don't like using the word spiritual too often because it turns, especially like atheist people, it's like they can't understand energy. Like when you try to tell them like this stuff is there's a frequency, and energy is a real thing, and elements. We like, for example, we know how magnets work, how they drawn to each other, and how they connect or whatever. So there are things outside of our understanding, but we witness it happen, like magnets attracting each other. So I do believe in frequency and I do believe in like attraction. So, but y'all know I don't believe in free will, so I think this stuff is orchestrated, designed, but that's another Bible study. Meditation for me is the key to spiritual path. It opens up doors. And like, man, it's good for the soul. I love like, my favorite way to meditate is listening to Tina Turner. Listening to some of her audio, not her music, but her giving like prayers and meditation, like leading prayers and meditation. I like listening to some of her chanting and stuff. It's something about her voice, the frequency of her voice, that it does. I love it. So Jesus was a man, okay? He can't be a god. Miss Didi said anxiety sucks. Yes, it definitely sucks. But I think my anxiety come from all the trauma from my childhood. I have having an overactive nervous system. So if you learn how to calm that nervous system down, it'll get better. PTSD, so yeah, I know. Because they are told how to read it is my control. I said that. Yep, remember I said that yesterday. It's something, because I'm telling you, when I was a believer, I called on to this, and I was like, why did he have to make a serpent again? You know what I'm saying? And then I know what the book of Revelations said, and then John talking about something just like the serpent was held up, the son of man gonna be held up. I was like, okay, he's son of man, the son of God. What's going on here? Like y'all say he God. What's going on? Like, why does it make why why does it make sense to read everything out of context? They might ask a pastor that on Sunday. Ask them why they read 2 verses and give a whole ceremony. He said they hated the food. So the ghost of Christmas past. Okay. And I've been up here laughing at me. What you was laughing at me about? So, but I'm just saying, I just told people like this shit suspicious as hell. I don't give a damn. So you said Miles was built up from CHT and DV, domestic violence. I'm sorry to hear that, sis. Like, what is CHT though? What I'm not catching with that? Childhood trauma? Okay, childhood trauma. Yeah. That's what I said, sis. Like, that's what I said, like, let me show y'all. Let me show y'all this video. I was gonna do a live. I'm gonna do a separate live, but let me just show y'all where something I came across on TikTok. And stories like this makes it hard for me to believe in God. Believe in a God. Like, I like fuck all this free will shit. Like, this shit literally pissed me off. Let me see if I can find the story real quick that I heard this morning. I literally had to like take some time and close my eyes and breathe a little bit because the rage that was starting to build up. Y'all listen to this. Trigger warning. This baby gets raped. So if you don't want to hear the story, you might want to X out. It's only a few people in here anyway. But y'all listen to this. This kind of like, when I see stories like this is what makes it hard for me to believe in God. What the God of the Bible. So, like, this stupid damn, all this because of damn piece, somebody ate a piece of damn fruit. So, come on, TikTok.
I mean, let's be serious. What did you think was gonna happen? You did that to a 3-year-old child and thought you was just gonna go to prison. That was gonna be it. This right here is a prime example of karma's a bitch. And y'all might not like this story, but it is what it is. 34-year-old man took a life of a 3-year-old girl. He was unalive in prison just a month after he started his sentence. Here's the video right here. Oh my God. Some people say it's not justice, but it is what it is. His name was Robert Fisher. The beautiful soul that he took away was Josephina Cunningham, a 3-year-old child. My name is Kim. I do motivational content on TikTok, and if you didn't hear about the story, well, Kim about to tell you. And if you're a mother or a parent, you better listen to this message. 3-year-old Josephina was found unalive in her mother's apartment in Rensselaer, New York. Had been left in the care of her mom's boyfriend. Night her mom came home, went in bed, and saw her sleeping, or at least she thought she was sleeping. Next morning, she was unalive, bruised. This man R.A.P.E. this little girl. She was lifeless the next morning. This man assaulted this little girl, and he tried to cover it up. They said this man used Clorox wipes and stuff like 17 into this little girl to stop the bleeding from what he did. Man, trigger warning, I should have said that. They said he was trying to wipe his DNA off of her. I mean, scrubbed her face so hard that her pigment on her skin came off. What kind of sick-ass fuck does something like that? They should then plead guilty to 2nd-degree murder, 1st-degree assault. But I tell you one thing, what he didn't expect was karma to come and catch him. And it did, less than 30 days into his sentence. But you know what? I got a message to y'all. This is for the parents who keep trusting random men around their child. I believe in your kids with anyone. It doesn't matter if you're in a relationship with somebody. You should love your child enough to protect them from what you don't know. This world's getting crazier and crazier every day. This man literally befriended the mother, got in an entire relationship with her, and then did this to her daughter. Women, and yes, I'm saying women, the best thing you can do as a mother, protect your child. To never let your guard down when it comes to your kids. Because most times the most traumatic experiences happen from the people that's closest to you. The people that's supposed to protect you. Unfortunately, this little girl was not protected. Any parent who got daughters, your daughter is not a babysitting gig. You don't just let your daughter go out somewhere, or any one of your kids, just because you feel like you need some free time. Because it only takes 1 time, 1 second, 1 minute for something to happen to your child. Unfortunately, this little girl didn't have 24 hours. Kids is not safe because you love them. I mean, let's be serious. What did you think was gonna happen? You did that to a 3-year-old child and thought you were just
Now, stuff like this, like when people be like I kind of got into it with somebody on Facebook because sometimes I just get triggered. I get triggered. Somebody was bragging about the reason why she believed in God is because God saved her life, right? I guess she almost died a few. I guess God saved her life more than once. I guess she almost died a few times. She didn't give details, but I guess she almost died a few times, and she was, saying that that's why she believed in God. Favor, favor from God. And I straight asked her, and I was like, "Well, I guess lucky you. Like, now, what about the other millions of kids that die? Like, can you tell me like what made you, what? How did you get on God's VIP list? Like, if He saved you but won't save children, like innocent kids who can't sin, so kids can't even sin because they can't comprehend it yet. And it's like when I hear stories like this, 3-year-old baby. Now, even though they wind up getting street justice, right? Even though some of these guys they wind up just going to PC and people can't get to them. I guess he was in general population and he got to him. Now I'm gonna cover this story because it's something else wild that goes along with the story. Y'all will see it. I probably cover it on Friday. I might do this story Friday because it's more to this. But it's stuff like this, and then I have to read a book where I see the holy. That's supposed to be a holy book where I see innocent kids being unalive all the time. And even there's songs in this book where people are praising unaliving children, like bashing their heads against rocks, right? Celebrating the day they get to do that. And I was like, when I hear people, oh, God did this for me. God gave me a promotion. God sent me my husband. I prayed the Sierra prayer. God loves me. God favors me. And I was like, dang, how you get on the VIP list? Like, this baby was 3. Baby was 3. Didn't have a chance. Grown ass man. And like I said, I had to take a break because I seen Miss Didi say she had to pause. But I had to, after I watched it, y'all know because of my story, right? I don't have to keep repeating it. But I didn't experience nothing like on that level. Like he unalived this baby. All right, 3 years old. I hear people when I get into arguments with them, they be wanting something bad to happen to me. And I was like, even if something bad happened to me, that don't mean God did it or whatever, because I see Christian believers, bad shit still happen to y'all too. And y'all believe faithfully, right? Y'all die young too, I don't seen it. I lost somebody who I love dearly, and she loved the Lord, but she passed. But I be wondering, like, y'all be wanting bad stuff to happen to non-believers. And I'm like, God just let these evil MFers just walk around. Like, wouldn't it be better for that man not to come into existence to do something like that to a child, but let a Christian try to explain it? Well, God loves everybody. Your lie is on the same level as a child rapist and a child unaliver. A lie that you told, maybe you told your boss that you calling off because you don't feel well and you really went to a concert or some shit, right? Because you wanted to go to a concert. So you called off sick. That's on the same level as somebody who unalived the baby after he raped her to death, right? Imagine what's going through that baby head. That's why I told people it's hard for me to believe. How you get on the VIP list? Like, how does that work? Yeah, I remember I played a video for y'all a couple of weeks ago where a pastor, a church leader, and her husband rushing to hurry up and you know to do the sermon, to do the service, participate in the preaching and teaching. Baby died in the car, and the whole time I said all them people who claim to have the Holy Spirit, nobody got a message from the Holy Spirit saying that there was a baby slowly losing their life in a hot car. That's a terrible way to die. To be bait to death. It's a terrible way to die. I don't know. I just wanted to share that. Just so to let y'all know when I be hearing people try to justify the Bible, I don't got in a few debates about righteous judgment. And I told them, man, the Bible false and unjust, man. Because the most twisted thing out of all this, let's just entertain the Bible as if it is real. The most twisted thing about this is twisted what he did to this baby. But if he repented, he was going to paradise. If he said, I'm sorry, Jesus, come into my heart, forgive me of my sins. A man who let something like that enter his consciousness to do that to a baby, he chilling in heaven. But a person like myself who's just not convinced, even though I'm not going to hell, people keep trying to send me there, and I'm like, I'm not going to hell. You can go. I'm not going. Right? That's not my destiny. But a person who thinks like me, who's just not convinced, they soul got to go to, who never did anything close to this. You know how they say, Christians say good people going to hell all the time. They say that shit all the time. I be like, why is it like that? Shouldn't it be motherfuckers like that? Not people who not convinced. Because, you God, you almighty, do something to convince. But if that man say he was sorry, he got a mansion in heaven and the streets are paved with gold, right? That's what they say, right? That story was crazy. But I had to share that with y'all. So, because I told you, like that, like stories like that make it hard for me to believe in God for real. All right, family. I'm gonna go ahead and end this live. I ain't gonna put no more videos on you. Yeah. But yeah, I think I'm gonna cover this story Friday or sometime this weekend. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. What you giving his medicine? No, I meant to tell you, give him that the pharmacy medicine, but also give him the allergy, the two pink pills. Give them both at the same time. Because when you mix them together, it seems like it works. I meant to tell you that the other day. Yeah, I'm just saying. I think I noticed something that helps. Okay, all right then. Never mind. I got it. I'm finna end the show. Miss Didi, if you still in here, sis, I'm sorry. That's why I kind of tried to put a trigger warning, but I just wanted y'all to see how it's so hard for me to accept the teachings and how they try to make sense of evil. Ain't no way they gonna convince me that people doing stuff like that because somebody ate a piece of damn fruit, somebody gained the consciousness of gods, and they're doing things like that. That's it. All right, Ivan, thank you for supporting. But if Miss Didi, if you see the end of this video, I'm sorry, sis. Love you. I really do. People sick, but they got them though. They got them though. And then the men, you know, some of them don't play that. But I let y'all know they did. They took his life. They sure did.
Nothing but the same for me. Heartbroken into where my brain should be. Wait for me. Don't leave without a second glance. Not again. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. God's gone, God's gone, God's gone. God's gone, God's gone, God's gone. For once, can you listen? Is that too much to ask for? Before the seasons change, before it gets cold, can you at least pretend? Can you at least pretend? Life of a pessimist, only a fool believes there is a God in the sky who listens to the plea of his child. How could he leave us all alone? Leave us all alone. How could he leave us all alone? Leave us all alone. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. God's gone, God's gone, God's gone. God's gone, God's gone, God's gone. For once, can you listen? Is that too much to ask for? Before the seasons change, before it gets cold, can you at least pretend? Hey, no. Can you at least pretend?
I don't know. Something happened with my camera. That bit went out and then it came back on. Don't know. But I'll catch y'all in the next one. And remember, your life is your holy book. Probably, I don't know, depending on, I might go live tomorrow. I might not, depending on, I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. So depending on how fast I get home. So, but if I don't, I definitely see y'all Friday. I'll be covering that story Friday. But I gotta reach out to Tootie, see if she's still available to do a live this week. So, all right, family, make sure y'all hit that like button to the playback game. You know I love you. The best way you can support your girl is hit that like button, like and share. Appreciate you. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Catch y'all in the next one. Peace.
I met a girl in a skating rink, and I ain't been the same ever since. She said, boy, this world is an illusion. There's a real world outside this world. It's a gift to you, to me, to us. She said, Neo, I'ma need your trust. Let's take a trip down a rabbit hole. When you get there, you gon' free your soul. D-O-X, 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 free your mind. Open up your heart and you will find there's a real world outside this world. It's a gift to you, to me, to us. She said, you are the creator. Ain't nobody coming here to save you. She said, the answers are inside of you. All the answers, all you have to do is free.
Big plans, no God, no chance, no love, no good, all bad. Big plans, no God, no chance, no love, no good, all bad.
And what if I was a product of everything I was brought up and y'all wouldn't be talking shit cause y'all would know what the problem is? Say I'm preaching on the beat, I'm trying to stop a bitch. Get the message to your phone like the fucking monolith. It's the opposite of lighting up a parliament, and all the money spent won't help with the parliament. And if the father sent us a sign, will we honor it? And if the father sent us a sign, will we honor it? Cause the body's dropping, baby still dying in. This a protest, take the gun away from all the kids. The only time I'm shooting guns is with a scholarship, giving gifts like my name was Chris. See, I can't understand the reason why they won't go get it. I'm talking to a politician, it's a bigger vision. The problem is you politic and turn it into business, we need a decision.
Big plans, no God, no chance, no love, no good, all bad. Big plans, no God, no chance, no love, no good, all bad.
Big plans, no God, no chance, no love, no good, all bad. Big plans, no God, no chance, no love, no good, all bad. Fuck the government, we ain't never loving it. All this shit they selling us, we ain't never buying it. So much blood spilling out, no mopping it. We ain't really got no time for the politics. Get it stopping it, but it's still more kids dying in. More funerals crying in. This America, is this the way it's always been?
The good die young, I'm just trying to save a kid. Don't be telling me you got no problem with another one down. I can still hear the hollow tips. We can try and get to stopping it. I got a problem with it.
storm and I'm scorched in. Fire from the brainstorm, they torture my portions. Vision panoramic, third eye orbiting. Demons on my shoulder, they whisper distorting. Yeah, they try to shackle thoughts, chains made of fear. But I break locks, let the truth appear. Shadow puppets dance and they lurk in the rear. I see through the smoke, make the mirage clear. Who gon' tell me no? Mindset colossal. War in my dome like Apollo versus fossils. Every thought a bullet, every rhyme a gospel. Freedom ain't free, so I fight the impossible.
XXX Tentacion, I see the lies, I see the skies, I see the cries. XXX Tentacion, they can't possess, they can't suppress, I testify.
They want me numb, want me dumb, want me quiet. But my words hit hard, start a riot. Spirits try to creep in, I deny it. Mind on the throne, can't buy it, defy it. Wolves in the skies, howl in the mist. Trying to pull me down, drag me into the abyss. But my third eye glow like the moon when it's lit. Every time it strike, I counter with wit.